Mr. Mgqibelo, your witness is present.
My Lord, that witness is not present, my Lord, before this court, and my instruction was to close the defense case for case number 1.
Okay.
And my Lord, further, I was going to request my colleague, Mr. Ramsipini, to address the court in relation to accused number 2.
Oh, they are fine.
Yes.
No problem. Not now, until number 4 is here. I was just interested in whether the witness is present or not. Otherwise, we are not formally on record. Where is it? He said he's at Chief Mampuru.
No, when I was addressing the court, they were bringing him up.
Okay, let's... yeah, just... open the proceedings.
As per business, we are ready to proceed with trial within a trial. Now the turn for the defense to proceed with further evidence at this stage.
Yeah, thanks. Mr. Ngomezulu?
My Lord, it is indeed so that yesterday we adjourned for the witness of...
Yes.
Yes. So it's my instruction, my Lord, that I should close the defense for accused number 1. The case, sorry.
For accused number 1.
For accused number 1.
Okay. Yes.
No longer calling the witnesses.
Okay, thanks.
If it may please the court,
then.
if it may please the court, my Lord, we have agreed with Mr. Mgomezulu that I lead the evidence of accused number 2. We therefore call accused number 2 to the stand, my Lord.
Okay, fine, no problem.
Also, Mr. Ntams.
Yes, okay, swear the witness in, Mr. Jonas.
Igama nesibongo baba? Uyimisela ukufunga baba? Okay, isifungo lesi sithatha ukuthi siyakubophezela ke mnembeza wakho? Okay. Uyafunga ukuthi ufakazi uzobethula lana uzoba iqiniso lodwa eliphelele uphakamise isandla uthi Nkosi ngisize ngikhuluma iqiniso. The witness is sworn.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Ramsipini.
Thank you, my Lord. Morning, Mr. Ntanzi.
Yeah.
Mr. Ntanzi, first of all, I'm going to ask you to speak up, and I'm also going to ask you, as you speak, give everyone in court, the state, the court, and my colleagues an opportunity to note down what you are saying.
Okokuqala ke bamntanzi ngizocela ke ukuthi ke ukhulumele phezulu futhi nanjengoba ukhuluma njena ke ungajahike unikeze wonke umuntu okhona la ithuba ngithi njengoba ukhuluma lokho okushoyo bakubhala phansi so uyacela ke Mr. Ramsipini nika umshushisi umehluleli kanye nabanye ozakwabo ithuba lokuthi babhale phansi magama akushoyo ukuthi ungakhulumi okuningi ngesikhathi esisodwa ukhulume ume banike isikhathi lokuthi babhale.
Yebo, yes.
I understand.
Now, as a starter, an incident occurred on the 16th of June 2020 that has necessitated you to be in that witness box. Do you recall the events of the 16th of June 2020?
Uma sesiqala ke kunesigameko esenzeka ngazo i-16 zika June 2020 ekuyisona ke esiholele ekuthini ume kule ndawo ome kuyona ke manje usakhumbula lokho kwenzeka ngazo i-16 zika June 2020? Yes, I still recall.
Please explain to the court what transpired on that day.
Yacela ke uchazele inkantolo ukuthi yini eyenzeka ngalelo langa. I first received a call when I came back from home.
Mangithole call kwa private number umfonela ngoba kwakusekuseni angazo ngase ngiqedile iviki eRustenburg.
When I received that call, it was from a private number. It was also in the morning. I don't know whether I had already been in Rustenburg for about a week.
Now let me stop you there. The call that you testify about now, did you get it on the 16th of June 2020 or before then?
Locingo okhuluma ngalo ke owalithola ke uthi walithola ngazo i-16 kaJune noma ngaphambilini kwalokho.
Ngithole ngemuva kwe-16 June, i-16 June singaphambili.
Okay, it was after the 16th of June.
Okay, then proceed.
Sungaqhubeka ke.
Mangifonela lo muntu oyangifonela angitshela ukuthi uyiphoyisa laseGoli. Ngathi mina mawuyiphoyisa laseGoli ngicela uchintshe private number ufonele ngenamba yakhe e-office ukuze ngizobona ukuthi serazwile leli office yaseGoli iphoyisa longitshela.
Then this person introduced himself or herself as being a police officer from Gauteng. I then said, if that is the case, then change the private number into a landline so I'll be able to see and confirm that indeed you are a police officer.
Proceed.
Yeah, bese ke engifonela ngenamba angisazi wayethi 011 angisakhumbule kahle.
Then this person contacted me with a 011 number, but it was written Johannesburg.
Angibuza ukuthi ngisawufuna nomsebenzi. Impendulo yami ngithi nomsebenzi okanjani lo? Ngoba mina ngiyasebenza.
This person then wanted to know from me, are you still looking for a job or interested in a job? I then inquired what kind of a job because I am employed.
Can I briefly stop you, Mr. Ntanzi? The person that phoned you, was it a male person or a female person?
Sikhuluma la ngomuntu wesilisa noma umuntu wesifazane lo wakufonela?
Sikhuluma ngomuntu womama.
A female person.
Proceed.
Bese ke mina ngimbuza igama lakho Thobani. Aqala nje angafuna ukungitshela igama lakhe, ngimtshele ukuthi mina ngizokhuluma nami angangitshela igama lakho.
I then wanted to know from this person, who are you? Or tell me your name. She didn't want to inform me. I then said to her that I won't speak to you if you don't want to introduce yourself. She ended up in introducing herself, and she referred to herself as being Mamfundisi.
Proceed.
Thereafter, she then said to me that there was a particular matter or case that she was looking me for. I then asked her, if you are then saying that you are looking me for a particular looking for me for a with regards to a particular matter, do you know the person that you are calling, or is it just a wrong number that you dialed?
Proceed.
She then proceeded by saying that, let me be honest with you, and said to me that I'm looking for you with regards to Senzo's matter.
Let me stop you again, Mr. Ntanzi. That telephone call I asked you previously, was it before the incident of the 16th of June 2020, or was it after?
Lokho lo bengikuzileke lo mbuzo lona ngaphambilini ke ukuthi kwenzeka lokho ngaphambi kwazo i16 noma kusemuva kwe16.
I16 zalingakafika ngathi ungifonela before kuzoya kwi16 mina ngisuka ekhaya.
So usho ukuthi ukufonela izingakashaya i16.
Ezingakashaya.
It was before the 16.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that point. Then what happened next?
Kwase kwenzeka nike emva kwalokho.
Wase ngibuza ukuthi ngikuphi nendawo eRustenburg.
She then wanted to know from me where precisely I was in Rustenburg. I informed her that I was staying in Freedom Park, Phase 2.
And what happened after that call?
Emva kwalelo cingo ke kwase kwenzekani?
Ngahlala nje, ngayihlalela.
I just
ngangilinde kuya ku medical kahle kahle. Ngoba ngangibuye emalangeni la eCorona.
Okay, I just sat around there or sat there because I was expecting to go to medicals because I was just coming from, it refers to it as being Corona days. Uma uthi emalangeni kahle kahle uthi wabuya kuphi? Uma uthi wabuya emalangeni eCorona?
angithi sikade sivaliwe
Yes.
emsebenzini.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Sikuthiwa akusasetshenzwa indaba
Okay.
yekhona.
It was just after we had been requested not to come to work because of COVID.
Now, I want to take you and direct your attention to the events of the 16th of June 2020. Do you recall the incidents that happened on that day?
Ngizokuthatha ke manje ngikusekulona ke leli langa lange-16 zika June 2020. Uyakhumbula okwenzeka ngaleli langa lange-16 zika June?
Yebo.
Yes.
What happened?
Kwenzekani?
Ngangilele endlini kwanokha abantu abayi2.
I was sleeping at home and two people knocked,
Obhuti nje abayi2.
two gentlemen.
Let's clarify this. When you say you were sleeping at home, where is home?
Uma uthi ke wolele endlini kuphi endlini?
Ngangilele lapha engirenta khona eRustenburg.
Where I was
Freedom Park phase 2.
renting in Rustenburg, Freedom Park in phase 2.
Do you know the address of that residence where you stayed in
Ikheli la lapho,
2020?
ikheli la khona lapho uyalazi?
Angisakhumbula masebe nesikhathi.
I can't remember it, it's been a while.
Then what happened as the two males knocked at your residence?
Uma ke laba bhuti laba babili ke benqonqoza ke kwasekwenzekani?
Ngisukumile ngavula emnyango.
I stood up and I opened the door.
Then what happened?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Mabe ngena endlini kwangena obhuti abayi2.
Yebo.
Bangibingelela ngavula.
Two gentlemen came in when I opened. They greeted and I responded.
Proceed.
Omunye wasethi hayi sifuna wena Siyanda.
And then one of them said, "We are looking for you, Siyanda."
Bese ngimbuza ke mina ukuthi why ungibiza ngoSiyanda wena ngisuku Siyanda mina.
I then asked this gentleman, "Why are you referring to me as Siyanda? Because I am not Siyanda."
Let me stop you for clarity. The two gentlemen that knock at your door, you open for them and they say, "We are looking for you." Did they identify themselves to you?
Laba babili ke abanqonqoza wabavule wasukuma wabavulela bangena babingelela ingaba bazethula yini noma basho ukuthi bawubani kuwena?
Bazethule kimi sesiphandle la ngoba bathi bacela ukukhuluma nami phandle.
They introduced themselves when we were outside because they requested me that we have a chat outside.
And outside, we'll come back to in the house. Outside, who did they introduce themselves as?
Uma bezethula ke bathi bawubani? Bangobani?
Bathi bangamaphoyisa abayinje yangigama street lakhe wathi uyiphoyisa.
They introduced themselves as police officers. He did not tell me his name, but just said he's a police officer.
And now, one of them says, "We are looking for you." What's the name that he said? Siyanda.
What is Siyanda ngithi? Yes.
And because your name is not Siyanda, what was your response?
Nanjengoba ke
That.
Kamala usho ukuthi ngoba wena angisiyena uSiyanda. Why wathini ke wena uma ethi wena kuyena Siyanda? Wathini wena umuphendula?
Ngamtshela ngathi mina ngiseyo uSiyanda. Ubani omtshela ukuthi ngoSiyanda wathi na ngilethe ID, ufuna ukuconfirma ngeID.
I informed him that I am not Siyanda. Who told you that I am Siyanda? Then he requested me to bring my identity document as confirmation.
Proceed.
Ngase ngithi nami ukuze ngibone iID le ngicela ukubona na uthi uyiphoyisa ungikhiphele lokho zakho uthi uyiphoyisa ngizobona.
I also made a request that now that seeing that now you are requesting my ID as confirmation, give me your confirmation as well so that I can see that you are indeed a police officer.
And did that gentleman produce his
Wakwenza-
appointment card, or
Sorry.
both of them produced identification cards?
Uma usumcela ukuthi akuboniseke wakwenza lokho yena.
Wakwenza yedwa lo wena omzimba.
Yes,
Ungangikhombisanga lo omunye nomzimba lo okahle nje.
the one that was well built did produce it, but the other one who was just with a different build to the other one did not do it.
And then how did you know him as? Once he produced that appointment card?
Uthe uma sekutshengisa ke ikhadi lakhe ke lokuthi uyiphoyisa ke wabona ukuthi ubani. Or noma
Or did he
wathola
tell
ukuthi
you his
ubani
name?
noma
Once
wakutshela
he
igama
produced
lakhe.
the identification card.
Wagcina yena ekhuluma yena ukuthi ngoba lela gama labhalwe lapha lelihlolo ukufunda.
He ended up telling me who his name was because it was
Ngabona
difficult.
nekhanda wasengitshela yena ukuthi ubani.
Because it was difficult for me to read the name that was written there. I could see just the head or the face, but he then told me who he was.
What did he tell you his name was?
Wathi kuba
wathi uSergeant Mkhane.
Sergeant Mkhane.
Okay, then proceed with what transpired.
Lo munye lo wabe sengitshela ngomkhane ukuthi hayi lo Sergeant Mabhena.
I was then informed by Sergeant Mkhane that my colleague here is Sergeant Mabhena.
Proceed then, what transpired?
Emva ngalokho ke basebethi ifone.
Thereafter they then wanted to,
abanika ifone yami i2.
they wanted to know where my phone was. I gave them my phone, I2.
And the phones that you gave them, do you still remember the models of those phones?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. I thought maybe the witness was referring to a brand, but he was saying that I gave them 2 of my phones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you recall the models of those phones that you handed over to the 2 police officers?
Lama phone amabili owabanikeza wona ke ingabe uyawakhumbula yini amagama awo ukuthi kwakuyiwaphi ama phone?
Yeah.
Yes.
What were they?
Always Samsung J5.
Samsung J5.
And the other one?
Lenenye lencane ngawo kwakungiyasisi ngoba ngangiyifakela iscreen ngalama headsets lama phone amancane ngawo.
The other one was a small phone. It was my sister's phone because I was going to have it to have a screen put on that phone. A small one of those small phones. I'm not sure whether it's a Hisense.
And what did the officer that you handed the phone to do with those phones?
Lona ke owamnikeza amafoni wase enzani ke ngalawo amafoni owamnikeza wona?
Ngamnika wawabuka wawaphatha wase yena ekhipha ifoni yakhe ekhwethini efonela lo muntu amfonela ngabona futhi sethi ring ifoni yami asikhathi ke sethi ke hamba ogqoka ndoda sifuna wena samba nawo.
Looked at the phones, took out his phone, made a call, and then a call came through my phone. That's when he then said to me, go and get dressed. We are looking for you.
And roughly what time did these police officers arrive at your place?
Nkathi befika la uhlala khona kwakubani isikhathi?
Kwakusebusuku ngoba phela ilanga belishosha lishona mina lezo nsuku lesikhathi angisasikhumbuli ngoba kwakusebusika kubanda.
It was at night, and I'm not certain about the time because it was sunset was very early during those times because it was during the winter.
And at the time the police officers came to your residence, were you by yourself or in the company of somebody else?
Nkathi amaphoyisa efika lapha kwakho kwakuwena nje uwedwa noma ukhona umuntu owawunaye?
Ukhona umuntu ongenayo.
I was in the company of someone else.
And who was that person?
Kwakubani? Lebuhile.
Phethane isibongo sakhe.
His surname is Phethane.
And what was the nature of your relationship with that person?
Nanhlanganiswa yini no Lebuhile?
Sasithandana.
We were in a love relationship.
Now proceed from where you say they told you, the police officers told you to dress up because they were looking for you. What then transpired after that?
Ushilo ukuthi basebethi ke noma ethi omunye ke hamba ogqoka sifuna wena kwase kwenzekani ke emuva kwalokho?
Ngihambile ngayogqoka mangibuya ngagqoka nje impahla zami lejacket mangibuya base bengifasa ngama handcuff ngifasa usayitsheni lwethu ngomkhane.
I then went to get dressed, came back, just wore my clothes as well as a jacket. When I came back, I was handcuffed by Sergeant Mkhane.
Mangilokhu ke ngibabuza mina ukuthi okokuqala ningibiza ngegama ongesilonela ngiphinde ngithatha ifoni athi ifoni yami lo nto le ibizwa ngokuthoyini lona komunye lo wasethi ngababuza amasemba ngathi mina ngibuza ukuthi uthini wase ngishaya ngepama lo ngomzimba omncane.
I kept on asking as to how is it, or what is it that's happening. Firstly, you referred to me by an incorrect name, took my phones, answered my phone, and so what is it? And then the other one, that is now the one that is referred to as Mabhena, then said to me that I should not ask them nonsense, but that's not the word the witness used. I think everyone heard the word. And he then smacked me.
Somewhere else they didn't hear the word. In the SEA, for instance.
Malad?
I said the SEA, they didn't hear the word.
Okay. Said don't ask me shit.
Yes.
And where did he slap you, Mabena?
Wakushaya kuphi amabhene?
Wangishayalana pa ngoba izandla zayifaswe so.
The witness is pointing to his left side of his face and indicating he hit me here because my hands were tied like this, referring, showing to the back, to his back.
And after that, what transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani emuva kwalokho?
Ngangena ke emotweni iFortuner lebehamba ngayo emhlophe.
I got into the vehicle that they were traveling in, a white Fortuner.
Where in that Fortuner did the policeman place you?
Bakuhlalisa kuphi nendawo kuleyo Fortuner leyo?
Ngangena ngaba semveni kwakho Mabhena kosenkantolo.
As I came in, I sat behind Mabena.
And that motor vehicle, was it a marked police vehicle or a plain unmarked police vehicle?
Kwakuyimoto ebhaliwe yini oyibonayo ukuthi imoto yamaphoyisa noma yayingabhaliwe?
Engabhaliwe ukuthi imoto ngabona ngoblue light sengingaphakathi.
It was unmarked. I only noticed the blue light when I was inside the vehicle.
Now, before you got into the car, did those police officers, Mohani and Mabena, whilst you were still at your residence, either inside the house or outside the house, did they confront you with some sort of evidence about what they were looking for you for?
Nkathi ke niselaphayana ningekayongena emotweni noma naningaphandle endlini noma niphakathi ke kukhona yini ubufakazi abathi naku esinako ngakuwena ke ingakho sikufuna nje ngoba sinalokho ngakuwena khona ubufakazi ababethi banabo ingakho bekufuna nje?
Wangikhombisa isithombe kosenkantolo.
Pointed out a picture or a photo to me.
Was it a physical photo or was that photo shown to you from a device?
Isithombe lesi ubonisa isithombe mhlambe usibonisa sisephepheni noma ubonisa isithombe sise efonini?
Asisefonini.
From a device, a phone.
And can you describe the photo that was displayed to you?
Ungasichaza lesithombe lesi owasitshengisa? Ungasisho ukuthi kusichaza ukuthi kwakuyisithombe sikanjani?
Lapha enkantolo angasibona.
I haven't. Sorry, correct.
Angasibona lapha enkantolo esengasikhombisa ngomhana.
The one that was pointed out to me by Mukhane, I haven't yet seen it here in court.
Describe that photograph.
I was chazel.
Kwakumuntu wayegqoke iskipa somkhono emide.
It was a person that was wearing a long sleeve shirt or t-shirt.
Ngoba kwakuzithombe ezide wayegqoka iskipa eside engaveli ngapha esingezansi.
Ngoba kwakuyithombe ingaki?
Izithombe entathu.
Because there were three pictures. You could see that this person is wearing a long sleeve t-shirt, but you could not see the bottom part. Yebo?
Iskipa nje ngathi lesikipa zamadayisi lezi engabentolo lapha esifubeni.
This is what you would refer to in the township refers to as being a dice, but it has the diamond shape.
And the third photo?
Esesithathu?
Esinye sasingavezi ubuso bonke. Sasiveza amazinyo kuphela.
The other picture did not portray the whole face. It was only the teeth that one could see, but not the entire face.
Thanks, Bill. Just to track back a bit, when the police officer said to you, now dress up, we are looking for you, did they tell you the case or anything that they were looking for you for?
Uma bethi ke hamba ogqoka sifuna wena bakutshela yini ngecala noma yini kahle kahle le ababekufunela yona?
Wayeseshilo ke umuntu umfunela ecala lasenzo.
He had already said to me or indicated to me that they were looking for me with regard to Senzo's matter.
Now, Constable Mohani has testified in this court, and he testified that when he arrested you on the 16th of June 2020, he specifically told you that they were arresting you on Nongoma case 186 of 10 of 2018. I'm sorry, it's 163 of 10 2020, the Nongoma case, it's a murder case. Did he tell you that?
Usergeant Mukhane nkathi ethula ubufakazi bakhe la enkantolo abakusho ke kule nkantolo ukuthi washo kuwena ukuthi ukubophela icala u163 ka 10 2020 icala la kwaNongoma. I heard that for the very first time from him when he arrived here, my lord.
Now, when the two officers arrive at your place and they've now identified themselves as police officers and now they are going to arrest you for a particular murder case, did they warn you of your constitutional rights?
Manje ke unalamaphoyisa amabili angenile futhi ke manje sebeyakubopha ke ingaba bachazela yini noma bakwexwayisa yini ngamalungelo onawo ngokomthetho sisekelo?
Angikhumbuli.
I can't recall.
For example, did Mabena or Mohani advise you that you've got the right to remain silent?
UMabena nobuMohane basho yini kuwena ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi uthule ungasho lutho?
Nkosi enkantolo angikhumbuli ngoba uMhane mina sasingezwani ngelanguage la ekhuluma. Umuntu angicishe ngimuzwa kancane lo munye lo ngoba wagcina engitshela emveni kwesikhathi ukuthi ungumndebele. Angisizwe ilanguage ekhuluma kuyahambiselana nesiZulu.
My Lord, I do not remember because there was this language barrier between myself and Mohane. We couldn't understand each other. The person that I could at least, not completely, my Lord, understand was the other person because he ended up telling me that he was Ndebele, which was a bit closer to isiZulu.
Yeah, but let's continue regarding the right specifically. Did he also warn you that you've got a right not to say anything to them and
Yes. This witness, your witness, twice. He says, I can't remember.
That's right.
I can't remember.
All right. And you've testified now that for the first time you hear that you were wanted on a Ngoma case was here in court when Mohani testified, correct?
Usushilo ke ukuthi nkathi kuzokuqala ke mayelana neqala la kwaNongoma ukuzwela enkantolo nkathi uMohane ethula ubufakazi.
Yebo Nkosi enkantolo.
That's correct, my Lord.
Now, as they take you, the police officers, did they tell Kilebogile, your partner, where were they taking you?
Nkathi bethatha ke behamba nawe basho yini kuLebuhile ukuthi babusa kuphi?
Akaze bamtshele nix.
They never told her anything.
Did they leave their contacts so that she can then phone and know your whereabouts?
Ingabe bashiya yini amanamba abo ukuze ukuthi ke abafonele uma azi ukuthi ukuphi nendawo?
Cha, akaze bawashiya amanamba.
No, they never left their contacts.
Now, I want to proceed, you to proceed from the stage when you were placed in a car. Where were you taken?
Ngifuna ke manje uqhubekeke kusuka kulesikhathi ke ufakwa ke manje emotweni noma ke ungena emotweni bakuthatha bakusa kuphi?
Bangithatha ngangena emotweni sahamba saye e-police station le yasePhukeng.
From there we proceeded to the Phukeng police station.
Why
Kodwa
was-
masihamba lapha endleleni
Sorry,
wayelokhu
let me
engibuza
cut you.
uMabhene imibuzo.
Let me cut you. Sorry for that. Why was it necessary for them to take you to Booking SAPS?
Kwakuyini kwakungani bekusa noma behamba nawe beya nawe e-police station yasePhukeng?
Babehamba namaphoyisa lana khona kodwa wena wangenanga lapha endlini yamasejadini aye nje emgwaqeni la.
They were in the company of police officers, but those police officers did not get into the premises where I was staying. They were just standing on the road.
And those police officers, were they? Do you know the station where they emanated from?
Lawo maphoyisa lawo ngabe uyazi yini ukuthi babebuya kwesiphi station ngamagama ukuthi babesebenzela kuphi?
Ngabona imoto ebhala umbhalo khona ePhukeng.
Saw vehicles that were written Phukeng,
Ngoba le moto mayisuka eFreedom Park zaya straight khona.
because even when the cars left Freedom Park, they went straight there.
So let's clarify this. On the 16th of June 2020, the cars that arrived at your place was the Toyota Fortuner, and there were other marked cars from Booking SAPS, correct?
Asichaze nje lokhu kucaceke noma kuzwakaleke ukuthi uthi imoto ezazikhona lapha yana kwakho noma lapho ohlala khona kwabuyile Fortuner kanye nezinye imoto ezayibhaliwe owabona ukuthi zibhalwe Phukeng.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you are in the motor vehicle being transported, and you were about to explain where you were transported. But first, this one: how were you handcuffed then in that car?
Emotweni ke manje phakathi ke wawufaswe kanjani?
Ngihleli so izifaswe ngemuva izandla.
I was seated like this, the witness his hands being at the back. My hands were behind me.
You can proceed from then.
Usungaqhubeka ke.
Sihambile ke saze safika masihamba lapha ngemoto endleleni uMabhena lokho engibuza ukuthi ngangekuphi kushona uSenzo.
We proceeded, but as we were traveling, Mabena kept on asking me where I was when Senzo passed on.
What was your response?
Wathini umuphendula?
Ngathi mina angibuza ukuthi uthini lento ngibuzayo ngoba okokuqala usungishayela ngithi usangimina osangibuzayo ngoba lokho uzongibopha ngithi uza nento wena ozana ukuthi uzongibopha so anginayo impendulo ngoba ngeke ngikhumbule ukuthi ngangi
Wenza lento kuyicele ukuthi ungayenzi ne? Yeah. Okay. Asiqale phansi uthini?
Ngithi mina ngamphendula Nkosi enkantolo ukuthi angeke ngikwazi ukuphendula.
I then responded to him by saying, I won't be able to answer you because
ngoba usungibeka isandla.
you have already assaulted me.
Okunye uzela phakathi umuntu uzongibopha ngibophele icala malo uyaphinda ungibuza imibuzo futhi.
And secondly, you came to me and said to me that you are here to arrest me for a matter, but still you are asking me questions.
Athulelwe sesihambe sesingene khona ephukeni phakathi police station.
He then kept quiet and then we drove into the police station in Phukeng.
What specifically happened at Phukeng, SAPS?
Khona ke lapho ePhukeng le kwenzekani yini eyenzeka epolice station lasePhukeng?
Ngahlala emotweni naye lo Mabhena umkhani waphuma wangena ngaphakathi yena.
I remained in the vehicle with Mabena and Mukhane went inside.
Proceed further.
Qhubeka.
Emveni kwalokho ke ngabona esedumisa reverse imoto isiphuma hambayo.
Thereafter, I then saw him then switching the ignition on and then the vehicle left.
Proceed further.
Qhubeka.
Yeza ke imoto yaze yafika lapho engazi khona le police station la angangayazi.
Mautia la kuphi?
La ePitoli.
Okay. The vehicle then proceeded to this unknown police station here in Pretoria.
And later on, during the course of your incarceration, did you learn the name of that police station?
Kamuva ke sewulapho ke kule police station ngabe wase ulazi ke igama lalo police station le?
Cha ngilazi emveni kwesikhathi Nkosi enkantolo.
It was only after a while that I got to know about it.
And what was the name of the police station?
La kwakuyini igama layo? Le police station?
Emveni kwesikhathi.
Musuyazi wathola ukuthi yini igama layo police station le?
Pretoria Mot.
Victoria Mot.
No, not on Mot, I'm sure.
Mot, M-O-O-T. Mot in English, M-O-A-T.
If I may clarify, evidence has been led in this court by Mohane, Mohola, and others that on the 16th of June 2020, you were booked at Pretoria North SAPS. Would you recall that?
Sekunobufakazi ke obethulweke kule nkantolo ke Mukhane kanye nabanye ukuthi ngazo i16 zika June lezo 2020 ipolice station abayokufaka kuyona ke noma bayokubhuka kuyona ke kwakuyi Pretoria North.
Would you agree with that? That's the police station that you were booked at. You
Ungavuma.
won't dispute that.
Ngavuma noma ungakuphikisa lokho. Bona bathi Pretoria North.
Police station ngangakayazi kwami.
I wouldn't dispute it because I myself didn't know the name of the police station.
Now, let's go to the events of the 17th of June 2020 at Pretoria North Police Station, where you woke up on the morning of the 17th. Do you recall that date?
Asindluleke manje siye kwilanga elilandelayo ke lazo 17 zika June 2020 ila owavuka ke manje uvuka kuleyo police station leyo uyalikhumbula lelo langa lelo?
Yeah, it was the 17th.
Yes, it was the 17th.
Could you explain to the court what transpired on that date?
Ngayichazela ke inkantolo ukuthi kwenzekani ngalelo langa.
Yebo, Nkosi enkantolo nge-17 kwaqala kwafika umuntu oyiwana ephethe camera hamba nomhana.
My lord, there was a person that arrived. That person was in possession of a camera and accompanied by Mukhane.
Proceed.
Yebo.
Umhana nguye wangivulela eseleni phakathi.
Mukhane is the one who opened the cell for me.
Proceed.
Yep.
Ngamanje la kune-passage lapha. Wase lo muntu lo athi angime straight ngithathe ithombe.
I just stood in, there was a passage there, I stood there. That person then instructed me to stand up straight and took photos of me.
Proceed.
Waphinda athi angigumule nempahla ngithathe ithombe ufuna ukubona umzimba la ngaphezulu.
Also instructed me to undress or take off my clothes, the my upper clothes, as well as to see my body.
Waphinda athi angigumule ney'cathulo.
Also instructed me to take off my shoes.
Proceed further.
Yeah.
Base bengiphinda bengibuyisele eseleni ngaleso sikhathi leso.
And at that time they then took me back to the cells.
And did anything again happen later on the 17th at the?
Waphindwa wabuya kwasenkantolo umkhane eseza nephoyisa lengilanda eRustenburg uSergeant Mapena.
Mokhana came back, my lord, together with the police officer that he was traveling with in Rustenburg, that is Mapena.
Bafika bangivulela futhi base bengikhava lapha ama-handcuff.
They opened up for me and then they placed handcuffs on me.
And where did they take you?
Baya kuphi now?
Wakhamba umkhane phambili Mapena ngamuva athi angilandele umkhane.
Mokhane was in front, Mapena was behind, and I was instructed to follow Mokhane.
And where did they take you?
Naya kuphi?
Safende sangena kwenye nje indawo nje nespace eyayinetafula so.
We just got into this spacious place that had a table. Yebo.
Mangifika khona kwasenkantolo ngafica kugcwele abantu abaningi.
On my arrival there, I found a lot of people.
And when you arrived at the place, evidence has been led in court that on the 17th by Mokhane Mogola, that you were taken to a boardroom where you were asked questions or interrogated. Are you talking about the same incident?
Kubufakazi-ke obethule phambi kwalenkantolo ke bathi bakuthatha bakusa kwihhovisi elithize ke la owabuzwa khona ke imibuzo. Ngabe kusho lokho?
Yebo bangesimbuza bangangabuzwa yebo imibuzo.
Yes, I was taken there, but they are not the ones who were asking me questions.
Okay. And further, you testify now that there were several people. Were those people police officers as well?
Nanjengoba uthi wafica kunabantu abaningi, labo bantu labo wabafica lapho kwakwamaphoyisa nabo.
Angazi uma kwamaphoyisa azange bangitshela futhi ayikho into abangikhombisa yona kwasenkantolo.
I'm not aware whether they were police because they never informed me and there's nothing that I was shown.
Uyiwani umuntu wagcina ekhuluma nami engitshela ukuthi ubani.
There's only one person who who spoke to me, ended up telling me who that person was, or who he or she was.
And who was that person?
Kwakubani loyo muntu loyo?
Ubaba uKininda.
Mr. Kininda.
And please proceed further.
Qhubeka ke.
Uthe mase ngichazela uKininda ukuthi yena ubrother Kininda wathi mangikhiphe imask.
When he introduced himself that he was Brigadier Kininda, he then told me to remove my mask.
Naye waseyikhipha ngoba ngambona straight yena. Ayikhiphe imask.
He also removed his, and then I could see him clearly after he had removed his mask.
And what transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Emveni kwalokho nkosenkantolo wayesengibuza ukuthi ngangikuphi ngo-October.
Thereafter, he then asked me where I was in October.
And what was your response there to?
Yathini impendulo yakho kulokho?
Ngathi mina angisakhumbuli ukuthi ngangikuphi ngoba ngiyasebenza futhi ngumuntu othanda nokuya ekhaya.
I then said that I can't remember as to where I was because I am employed and I also like to go home.
Let me clarify this. When he asked you where were you in October, did he specify the date and the year of that October?
Uma ekubuza ukuthi wawukuphi ngo-October, ngabe unyaka wawuchaza kanye ne-date wayichaza?
Wayichaza yizo sengasakhumbula manje zi-27 or 26 angisakhumbule kahle.
He mentioned it, although I just can't remember whether he said the 26 or the 27. I can't remember well.
And you testify now then that you gave an answer that you've just proffered now. What then transpired?
Uthi ke emuva kokuthi usumphendulileke kwasekwenzekani?
Mase ngiphendule ukuthi angisakhumbuleka wasethi kimi ucela ukubona umzimba wami.
One,
ngoba ngangigqoka ijacket nje nomkhono emide neskipa sefadana ngaphansi sasiyelo.
he then requested me, after I had answered him, to take off my clothes. He would like to see my body because I was wearing a jacket and as well as a yellow Fabiani t-shirt underneath.
Let's stop it there. I want to ask you several clarification questions. The several people that you referred to as being there in the boardroom, how many were there?
Labantu okhuluma ngabo nanjengoba usho ukuthi wafica kunabantu abaningi babe bangaki.
Angibakhaunta inkosi enkantolo ngoba abantu babe baningi ngoba itulo itafula so babegcwele so.
I didn't count them, my lord, because there were many of them, as well as the chairs were right around the table.
The reason I ask you that is that evidence has been left in this court to say the people that were in that board meeting was firstly Mabena, Mukhani, and Mukhula testified that she joined them towards the latter part of the meeting and that Gininda was not there. What is your comment?
Imbangela ke ukuthi ngikubuze lokho ngoba ubufakazi obethuliwe phambi kwalenkantolo ukuthi abantu ababekhona lapho kwakuMabena, uMukhani, waze uMukhula wase ezoba ingxenye kamuva ke yaloyo mhlangano loyo. Kodwa ke kubufakazi babo bashilo bathi uGininda wayengekho lapho. Uthini wena kulokho?
Wayekhona inkosi enkantolo akulona iqiniso ukuthi wayengekho.
He was there, my lord. It's not true that he wasn't there.
Now, I've clarified that you are at a stage where you are requested to take off your clothes now for the second time that day. Who requested you to do that?
Uthi ke kwasucelwa ukuthi ukhumuleke le impahla owuyigqokile ukuthi ubani owacela lokho?
Ngoye ubaba lo Gininda.
It's Mr. Gininda.
And proceed further.
Qhubekayo.
So, from my understanding, when you say he said you must take off your clothes, you mean all your clothes? Remain being stuck naked or what?
Ukuzwisisa nje kahle ke uma uthi ke wacela ukuthi ukhumuleke, wathi ukhumuleke konke owugqokile ube nqunu nje noma wathi ukhumuleni?
Cha inkosi enkantolo ngakhipha lokho kwangaphezulu kuphela ngashela ngebhuluka.
Only the upper part clothes, that which I was wearing on my upper body, my lord, as well as the shoes.
Then what transpired after you took your clothes off?
Kwasekuthini ke emuva kokuthi ukhumulile?
Kwasebe uMabena waqala wasumabena weza ke inkosi enkantolo engibuka la. Wase ngibuza uMabena ukuthi akaze ngwenze namathathu futhi angaze ngiboshwe yini.
Then Mabena stood up, approached me, and he looked at me, these parts, the witness pointing to the upper arms, both sides, and asked me, have you ever made tattoos and have you ever been arrested?
What was your response there to?
Wathini umuphendula?
Ngathi mina ngiyaqala ukuboshiwa angizange ngiboshwe.
I said to him that it's the very first time that I'm being arrested. I've never been arrested.
And about the tattoos, had you had tattoos before?
Wasuthini ke ngamathathu?
Ngathi angizange bene tattoo.
I said I've never had tattoo.
Then proceed further.
Qhubeka ke.
Phinde wathi mangiphinde ngikhamisa umlomo ngawukhamisa umlomo.
He also asked me or requested me to open up my mouth, which I did.
Engibuka ngamehlo so yona yena uMabena inkosi enkantolo.
And Mabena himself was looking at me, my lord, with his eyes.
Wasephinda engibuza ukuthi ngangahlakani igolide ngamtshela ngathi cha.
He also wanted to know or asked me, have I ever had a gold tooth? I said no.
Let me stop here. Now, in the boardroom, from the time you enter to the time when you are made to do all of those things, take off half-waist your clothes, open your mouth, let me check your tattoos. Did anyone explain your constitutional rights to you?
Nikulelo kamera lelo ke nkathi ungena lapho zenziwa zonke lezi zinto oyibalayo ukuthi ukhamise ukhumule icathulo owugqokile la ngaphezulu ukhona nje umuntu owachazela ke ukuthi mayela namalungelo akho onawo.
Ayangikhumbuli mina ngoba umuntu mezongena kimi ethi mina igama lami nguBragadi Gininda abese ngibuza umbuzo ngangingokuphelanga ngaliso ayangikhumbula ngitshela ngamalungelo.
No, I don't remember, my lord, because when someone comes to me, then introduces himself as being Brigadier Gininda, then asks me where I was on a particular day, I then don't remember being asked about or being warned about rights.
And let's clarify this for purposes of the future. Did he say I'm Brigadier Gininda or I'm Gininda? Because his title by then was not Brigadier.
asikulungiseke lokho ukuthi wathi kuyena engabe yena wathi kuwena ngiuGininda noma ngiuBrigadier Gininda ngoba ngaleso sikhathi leso wayengekabi uyena uBrigadier. So ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi wathini uma eyichaza kuwena.
Angisakhumbuli uma wathi bangikhona igama alibizayo vele ngangimashine igama lesibongo sakhe mina kwasenkantolo.
I can't remember, my lord, but there is a name that he mentioned, my lord. But he mentioned his surname.
Now, regarding the taking off of the clothes, Mohane and Mohola have testified in this court and have denied the allegation that you were made to take off your clothes.
Mayelana ke naloko kushoyo ukuthi bakhumulisa ke owugqokile umkhane kanye naye umuhula kuyona lenkantolo nkathi bethula ubufakazi babo ke bakuphikile ukuthi bona bathi kuwena khumula impahla.
Akusho ngobona vele ngikhompetha washo ugcine into zangikhumela impahla ngoba izithombe ngayithathiwa ngefoni izithombe lezi zomzimba ngaphezulu ibhoda ngaphezulu.
They're not the ones who instructed me to take off my clothes. It was Gininda who instructed me to take off my clothes, and a phone was used to take photos of me.
Now, let's clarify this. You are asked to remove your clothes. They inspect you for whatever they're inspecting you for. You are asked to open your mouth cavity for the reasons that they said. Was there anything else that was asked of you regarding your appearance in 2014?
Ngaphandle kwaleso soyishilo ke ukhunyuliswa ukhamisiswa khona okunye abakwenzisa kona.
Wangithatha zona nje ithombe vele lokho ke wasetha uzobuya ezekile.
I took photos of me thereafter. He told me that he would come back to me. I then left and they took me back inside the cells.
Before you go on, did anyone in that meeting ask you about the type of hairstyle that you had in 2014?
Ukhona yini kulabo owakubuza mayelana ke ukuthi ngo2014 inwele zakho zazi kanjani noma ihairstyle owawunayo ngo2014? Ukhona kubona owakubuza ngehairstyle owawunayo?
Lokho ngakubuza uGininda nangibuza ngedread ngangaba nedread ngathi cha.
That was asked to me by Gininda whether I had dreadlocks. I then said no.
And was anything asked of you about your occupation? What were you doing in 2020?
Ingabe khona yini
I mean in 2014, I'm sorry.
Owakubuzwa ukuthi umsebenzi owawenza noma usebenza phi noma wenza umsebenzi onjani ngo2014?
Akazange ngibuza uBenenti bengenza umsebenzi mono wayengibuza yena kuphela ukuthi ngangikuphi ngedate so ngoba yena wayengibuza ukuthi mina ngihlala kuphi eFosolwasi ngithi mina ngosenkantolo angihlale eFosolwasi.
He never asked me that question because what Gininda was asking me where I was on a particular date, and he also wanted to know where I was staying in Fosolwasi, and I said that I'm not staying in Fosolwasi.
eFosolwasi ngiyangogidingo.
I only go to Fosolwasi when we have to perform, whether we are singing, we are dancing.
And did the police officers, in regard to the so-called Senzo case, did they ask you about certain individuals?
Can you repeat that answer?
Regarding the arrest on the Senzo in that boardroom, was he asked about if he knew certain individuals?
Nkathi ke bekhuluma nawe laphayana ne bekubuza ke mayelana nelicala leli lika Senzo ingaba bakhona abantu abathize yini abakubuza ngabo
kulaba bephakathi abanye
kulaba
babehleli khona la phakathi
abona njengoba bekhuluma nawe nje angithi bakubuza ukuthi wawukuphi ngelanga elithize bani wawukuphi kathi uSenzo eshona ingaba kunabantu nyabakubuza ukuthi uyamazi ubani ubuza leyo nto ukuthi bakhona yini abantu ababekubuza ngabo ukuthi uyabazi yini umuntu othize uyamazi umuntu othize uyamazi. No, he didn't ask me that. He asked me that after some time.
Now, both Mohane and Mohola have testified that when you were asked about your whereabouts on the 26th of October 2014, you said that you were at work. What is your comment?
Bobabili-ke uMohane kanye naye uMohola bathe uma bethula ubufakazi babo kule nkantolo ukuthi uma ubuzwa ukuthi wawukuphi ngazo i26 zika October 2014 wena ke wathi umbaphendula ukuthi wawusemsebenzini.
Cha Nkosi enkantolo ngathi mina angisakhumbuli
No.
ukuthi ngangikupha ngabe ngangisemsebenzini ngoba ngangisekhaya.
No, my lord, I said I cannot recall or cannot remember. I don't know whether I was at work or I was home.
And by home, what do you mean?
Uma uthe ekhaya, usho?
Ekhaya eNatal kwaNongoma.
Home in Natal, Nongoma.
And at that meeting, did you inform Mohane that you are willing to take the police to your workplace in Carltonville?
Kulowo mhlangano loyo washo yini kuMokhane ukuthi wena kuyimisele ukuthi ungawathatha amaphoyisa uye nawe emsebenzini eCarltonville?
Angikaze ngisho lokho Nkosi enkantolo.
I'm not-
Uyo kuphela wangivulela wathi ngingene emotweni ngayibona imoto isifika lapha engangisebenza khona ethi angikhombe ukuthi ngangisebenza kuyiphi shaft yena.
I never said that, my lord. I was just placed in the vehicle. I saw the vehicle driving, and the vehicle drove to my workplace. He then told me to point which shaft I was working in.
Now, at the conclusion of the meeting in the boardroom, what then transpired?
Seqedwa ke manje noma lowo mhlangano sowuphela ke manje kwase kwenzekani ke uma sebeqeda ke ngayo konke lokho abakwenzeka lapha kwase kwenzekani?
Maqeda umhlangano lo ngoba uGininda lo wayelokho ethi angifuni ukukhuluma iqiniso kodwa ngimbuze ukuthi iqiniso lephi engizolikhuluma.
When that meeting ended or finished, my lord, because Gininda kept on saying that I don't want to tell the truth, and I was asking him which truth must I tell? Yeah.
And contextually, when he says you don't want to speak the truth, what was he referring to?
Uma esho wayekhuluma ngani? Sikhuluma ngoGininda ke manje. Uma ethi ke wena ke awufuni ukukhuluma iqiniso, wayekhuluma ngani?
Wayekhuluma ngecala langibophelelo nelengilapha Nkosi enkantolo.
He was referring to the matter that he had arrested me for, the matter that I'm appearing in court for right now.
And what were your responses to his questions regarding your whereabouts and your knowledge?
Wasuthini ke kuwena mayelana nokuthi wawukuphi kanye nolwazi lwakho? Wathini wena uma umphendula kulokho?
Mina ngamtshela ngathi angazi lutho Nkosi enkantolo.
I told him that I knew nothing, my lord.
And then now the meeting in the boardroom concludes. What then happens to you? What transpires?
Kwase kuqediwe ke manje lana ke kulomhlangano la enhlezi khona kwase kwenzekani?
Mase siqedile ukungibuza imibuzo khona elokhuza ayesiphethe isithombe.
When he had finished asking me questions, there is a photo that he had. Yebo.
Proceed further.
Yebo.
Ma ezithombe mayibeka la uyangibuza ukuthi ubani lo ngithi mina hayi angabade angibazi la.
It's actually photos, my lord. And he placed these photos right here in front of him. He would then point, who is this, who's this, and who is this? I would then say, no, I don't know these people.
And then what transpired?
Kwase kwenzekani?
Mangithi angibazi wase ngibuza ngesinye sasingale ngemuva athi ubani lo ngathi lo muntu angimazi mina ethi wena nguwe lo ngithi hayi akusisi isithombe sami lo muntu angimazi lo.
When I then answered and said, I don't know these people, then he pointed to a photo that was at the back and said, who is this person? I said, I don't know this person. He then said, no, this is you. I said, no, this is not me. I don't know this person.
Yes, if I may refer as for photo, I think it's photo 47 of Exhibit S we displayed. If you look at the monitor, is that the photo that you are referring to?
Yes, it is this photo.
And when Gininda said the person that is depicted amongst the people that are there is you, which person did he point to as depicted in that photo?
Imuphi lo ayekhuluma ngaye uma ayethi ke wena lona?
Wayekhuluma ngalo.
The witness is referring to the person with the cap on.
And I want to object to this reading of this evidence. Is this exhibit part of this trial within a trial? This court, please.
As the court persists, my lord, this has been disclosed to us. It's part of the totality of the case.
No. We are in a trial within a trial. We are not on a trial regarding the merits of this matter. The question which this court must decide upon after having declared the trial within a trial, because accused number 1 and number 2 disputed that they had freely and voluntarily made the alleged confessions. And the law says you must declare a trial within a trial.
As the court places,
And that is a circumscribed,
yes,
compartmentalized interlocutory inquiry.
as the court
It has
places.
nothing to do with drinking Coca-Cola at
No, that's
Fumana
fine. That's fine, my lord. I'll withdraw that question. Now, that questioning by Gininda on the 17th, did he ask you anything further?
Leyo mibuzo leyo ke owayibuzwa uGininda ngalelo langa lange-7 khona okunye akubuza kona.
awathi nje maqeda ungikhombisa ithombe hayi basukuma bahamba mangithi ithombe lezi angizange sekose kato.
After pointing out the photos to me and me saying that I don't know the photos or the people of the photos, they stood up and they left.
Now, let's move on to the events of the 18th of June 2020. Do you recall the events of that day?
Uyakhumbula ke ngazo i-18th kaJune 2020. Uyakhumbula kwenzeka ngalelo langa lelo?
Yeah.
Yes.
What transpired on that day?
Yini eyenzeka ngalelo langa?
Wafika usayitsheni mkhani kosenkantolo at station.
Sergeant Mukhane arrived at the police station,
Proceed.
Wangivulele eseleni wangitshela ukuthi mangivuke.
opened up for me in the cell and told me to wake up.
Let me just for clarity, what time did he arrive? Roughly what time, not the exact time?
Ungathi noma ungeke usho ke isikhathi ngqo ke kodwa ungathi kwakungobani inkathi umefika.
Wawusekuseni isikhathi ngingasazi isikhathi angisazi kosenkantolo.
It was in the morning, although I don't know the time, my lord.
Proceed further.
Usungaqhubeka.
Mayethi wangivuke sambeke waseke engifaka ama-handcuff la ngemuva.
When he told me to wake up and that we leave, he then placed my hands right at the back and handcuffed me.
Sambe sike siyophuma ngomnyango lo uma uphuma emaseleni lo uphuma lapha passage yamasela.
We then went out of the door, that is now the door of the cells, my lord. In other words, the passage that is in the cells. Yeah,
What happened?
Mangifika lapho ke ngathola usayitsheni lo munye usayitsheni Mabhena.
Upon arrival there, that's when I found the other sergeant, Sergeant Mabhena.
Emduzane nemoto lemhlophe white Fortune.
He was standing close to the white Fortuner.
Wavula ngangena phakathi.
He opened and I went inside.
Umhani wasephinde ngena lendlela le angazi yangoba ema office nini ngambone yale waphinde wabuya baseke start imoto sahamba.
Mukhane then went back towards the offices. He came back, switched on the vehicle, and we left.
Sorry to cut you off. Did the police tell you why they were booking you out on that day?
Ingabe amaphoyisa akutshela yini ukuthi kwakungani bekhipha ngalelo langa lelo?
Cha nkosekatola kangitshelanga mina ngambona sesekhathonville sethi khombe ishaft wawehla kuyo la ngoba amashaft asekhathonville maningi kakhulu.
No, my lord, I only just noticed or saw when we were in Carltonville and I was told to point out the shaft where I had went down because there were too many shafts in Carltonville.
Who was driving the white Toyota Fortuner?
I-Fortuner lena kwakubani umshayeli wayo?
Oh yena usayitsheni Mukhane.
Sergeant Mukhane.
And did you give them any directions to go to your workplace?
Ingabe wawubatshengisa yini ukuthi bahambe kanjani ukuyofika emsebenzini wakho?
Cha.
No.
Mina ngibakhombe nje kuphela sembuza ukuthi iphi shaft la ngathi nazo ngoba vele isemgwaqeni. Uphuma nje emgwaqeni ungena khona.
I only pointed out when I was being asked about the shaft because it is just close to the road. You just leave the road and then you are at the shaft.
And which shaft number did you take them to?
Yiphi ishaft owayesathi yona?
Number 8.
Number 8.
Then what transpired when you arrived at shaft number 8?
Masenifika ke kuyena ushaft number 8 kwasekwenzekani?
Ngabakhombisa kosenkantolo ukuthi ngisebenza la wasehla umhani yedwa ngishiya noMabhena ngaphandle.
I pointed out to them, my lord, that this is where I'm working. Mukhane then alighted, my lord, and he went there alone, left me together with Mabhena in the vehicle.
Now, let me just pause here for a minute. On the morning of the 18th of June 2020, when Mukhane books you out, did he inform you of your constitutional rights.
Ngaleli langa ke lange-18 kaJune 2020 ngathi ke uMogane ekhipha ke lapha emaseleni wakuxwayisa yini ngamalungelo akho?
Angikhumbuli Nkosi enkantolo.
I do not recall, my lord.
Now you are at shaft number 8. Mohale has exited the vehicle. What then transpired?
Nifikileke manje ku shaft 8 uMogane uphumile unishile emotweni nomabili nomabhena kwasekwenzekani?
Wangena ngaphakathi Nkosi enkantolo. Waphinde wabuya wazongibiza bese sibiza nomabhena sasesingena sonke futhi.
He went in, he then came back, called both myself and Mabena, and then all three of us went in together.
And by the way, the shaft that you went to show that the police officers took you to, it's at which mine?
Ikuyiphi mine leyo shaft leyo khuluma ngayo?
Isekhotoni East Fontaine igama la.
East Reef Fontaine.
Yes, Banya
Carltonville, East Reef Fontaine, Sibanye, Stillwater, my lord.
Proceed further when they took you now inside the premises of the mine complex.
Qhubeka ke nasinangena nobathathu.
Singenile ke ngaphakathi ke sahamba. Angimazi lo munye lo wayehamba la umhali umlungu. Eyosikhombisa ioffice le eShaka.
We then left, or proceeded, my lord. I don't know this white gentleman that Mogane was with, went to point it out to the office.
The white gentleman, for clarity's sake, is not a police officer. Is that an employee of the mine according to your observation?
Umlungu lo khuluma ngaye kwakungasilena ipolice, umuntu owayesebenza emine naye. Ngendlela wabona ngayo kwakuwumuntu osebenza emine.
Ngoba samthola ngaphakathi ngene umuntu osebenza ngaphakathi ngacabanga ukuthi umuntu osebenza khona.
Because we found the person inside, I would then assume that it was someone working there. Because you would never go in, sit inside without having a card.
Proceed further, sir.
Yeah.
Sasesivena ke office le eSharo. Wase ngibuza umhali benomabhena ukuthi ena ngabe yiyo le office eSharo lo ngathi mina ya yi office party umlungu lo wayephethe section le ngangisebenza akusuye lo.
Then this office was then we were then taken to this office. I think the witness is saying HR office, if I'm getting it correctly. Yeah. HR office, and what when aksiyana le office?
Yili office kodwa umlungu lo angamthola phakathi ehlele compound. Wangesiyo le.
Right. I then confirmed that this was indeed the office, but then the person or the white person that I found there busy on the PC, I said this is not the one that I know.
Then what transpired in that
office? They then spoke among themselves in the language that I couldn't understand.
But eventually, what then transpired there? Did they get the information that they were looking for, or what happened?
Wangibuza umlungu lo wayehleli phansi ngoba ukhuluma umfana kalo emayini. Wathi mangibize kunenamba ebizwa eqala ngoZ emayini.
Okay. This white gentleman, my lord, then asked me or spoke to me because in the mines we don't speak proper language. It's just a mix, what would be being referred to as being Spanagalo, and then asked me for a specific number that starts with a Z. Yebo?
Ngambizela ke number ke. Asephuma amaphepha base bawathatha lamaphepha la bewabuka bona omkhana azange wabone mina ukuthi la kunjani babewabuka bona hayi mina.
I then mentioned the number, then documents were printed out. They looked at those documents. I didn't see the documents. They were the ones that were looking at the documents.
Then what transpired after they received the documents?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Masiqeda ukwathatha Nkosi enkantolo kwasasihamba sawophuma futhi ngegate.
Took the documents and then we went out of the gate.
And what happened outside the gate?
Kwenzekani ngaphandle egate?
Masifika egate wase ngibuza uMabhena ukuthi imedical ne ukuyisebenzisa usebenza la. Ngabe kuphi yona? Ngathi ngayi iphezulu duzana nehospital apha ngangihlala ngakhona.
Mabhena then wanted to know from me the medical that you were using whilst working here in this mine. Where is it? I then said that it is closer to where I am staying.
And what happened?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Inyukile ke imoto masifika khona egate lakhona ngathi kulapha medical enziwa khona.
The car then drove up On arrival there, I then pointed out that this is where the medical is done.
What happened when you get at that center?
Uma senifika khona lapho kwenzekani?
Sangena ngaphakathi kusenkantolo mawefika ngaphakathi bathi bacela ifayela lami lala esibhedlela.
We went inside, my lord, and when they got there, they then requested for my file from that hospital.
What then happened?
Kwathini?
Wababuza kusisi ukuthi ifayela livumelene nomnikazi ukuthi silikhiphe ngoba la fanele sikhombise nama license yonke into yenu.
The lady then inquired from them, is this now in agreement together with the person, the patient, because you also have to produce your documents.
Proceed.
Yebo?
Base bephendula ngabazi bakhuluma nabo bengayibhekisi ke lo phendulo bekhuluma bodwa lapha.
They then responded, but I couldn't hear what they were saying because that was not directed at me. They were speaking amongst themselves.
Wase ngibiza kusisi ngaphinde ke ngambizela yona le nombolo eqala ngoZethu ngoba ngeke liphume lingabiziwe inombolo le yami.
The lady called me. I then mentioned the very same number that starts with AZ because the file won't come out if that number is not mentioned.
Then what happened?
Base bechecka base bethi sicela usicheckele ukuthi ayikhona injali engayireport ngoOctober mina la.
They then requested for her to check as to whether was there any injury that I reported in October.
And was that information furnished to the police officers?
Ngabe ke bakunikwa ke lokho?
Banginika ngoba ngababona amaphepha bawaphethe.
It was furnished because I saw them in possession of documents.
Did anything further happen in that office?
Kukhona okunye okwenzeka kulelo office lelo?
When they took those
documents, we went out, outside the gate, next to the vehicle.
And what happened outside the gate at the vehicle?
They opened for me, I got into the vehicle, and they remained standing outside.
And then what happened thereafter?
Babekhuluma nefoni ngangezwa ukuthi bakhuluma nobani nefoni ngoba aphela ngisho isikhathi esinganani ngabona sekufika yena ubaba lo bengibuza imibuzo nge17 wathi ubaba uGinenda nomama lo wayethi umamfundisi.
They were then speaking, my lord, using the phone. I couldn't hear what they were saying or who they were talking to. And then after some time, this gentleman that was asking me questions on the 17th, Mr. Gedinda, arrived, as well as the lady who introduced herself to me as Mamfundisi.
Now, for clarity's sake, you've seen the person in court and you've heard her name being said in court, her real name, that Mamfundisi. What is her real surname?
Umbonile lo muntu okhuluma ngayo lo wena uthi umbiza uMamfundisi, umbonile noma ke futhi wezwa nala enkantolo uma belibiza igama lakhe ke. Bathini uma bebiza igama lakhe noma isibongo sakhe la enkantolo? I heard the same name for the first time here in court. I think they said Mukhula.
Now you are outside the gate. Brigadier Gininda arrives with Sergeant Mukhula. What then transpires? Take it from there.
Fika ke uGinenda noMukhula kwasekwenzekani?
Bafika ke uSergeant Mkhalante ephethe amaphepha bafike babuka lamaphepha bembodwa la phandle.
On their arrival, Sergeant Mukhula was in possession of documents. They looked at those documents as they were standing outside there by themselves.
And what happened?
Emveni kwalokho ngambona yena ubaba uGinenda kwasenkantolo ebiyela ngaphakathi lapha esibhedlela lapha kade siphuma khona.
I then saw Gininda going back to the hospital that we were coming out of.
Did he go by himself? Accompanied by?
Alone, because the other three remained with me outside.
Did there come a point when he returned from inside the complex, Gininda?
Ingaba sikhona ke isikhathi la abuya khona ke. Ngaba nje nanjengoba wangena wabuya futhi.
Wangena phindwa wabuya sebuya sekuthenje kuba nesikhathi esincane waphindwa wabuya weza la kithi kwasenkantolo.
After some time or a short space of time he came back to us.
And what happened when he returned to the cars?
Uma sebuyela ke emotweni kwenzekani?
Waqala naye wakhuluma ngefoni khona la phandle. Mayekhuluma nefoni ngazi ukukhuluma nabani. Emveni kwalokho wasevula emotweni ukuthi namanje angifuna ukumtshela iqiniso na ngimbuza ukuthi iqiniso lephi engizokutshela lona.
He was speaking, my Lord, using his phone. I don't know who he was talking to, and then opened the vehicle, asked me, are you still not wanting to tell the truth? And then I asked him, what truth?
And in relation to, for context purposes, when he says, you still don't want to tell me the truth, did he relate in respect to what aspect?
Uma ethi awukafuni namanje ukhuluma iqiniso washo kuwena ukuthi ukhuluma ngani?
Wangitshela ukuthi afuna ukukhuluma iqiniso into bengibuza nebhodi umuntu wawukuphi ngokushona kaSenzo na.
He said to me, are you still not wanting to tell the truth with regards to what I asked you in the boardroom as to where you were when Senzo was killed?
And what was your response?
Wathini umuphendula?
Impendulo yami Nkosi enkantolo kuya ngathi mina into ongangibuza zona ezela emsebenzini nanokuthi ingome kuphi ngakuphendula ke lapho.
I told him that the only things that you can ask me about work-related issues and also where we have to gather for dance or for a song a ceremony, there I can answer you.
What then transpired after that?
Kwasekwenzekani ke emuva kwalokho?
Wathi angimhloniphi ngathi mina angazi lokho kusho kwakho lokho baba.
He then said that disrespecting him, I then said to him, that's what you are saying.
Then what happened?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Basebemabe phandle bona bekhuluma ke. Beba 4.
They stood outside, they were talking amongst themselves, the 4 of them.
And once they've done speaking amongst themselves, what transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani masebeqedile ukukhuluma?
Mabeqeda ukukhuluma Nkosi enkantolo uGinindo wasengena emotweni ke nomama lo mamfundisi.
Then Gininda got into the vehicle together with the lady Mamfundis. Mbiza ngesibongo sakhe ngithi. Uzizwile ngesibongo sakhe. Mbiza ngaso isibongo sakhe. Sergeant Mukhula.
Then what happened?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Ngashiyeka ke Nkosi enkantolo noMabhena noSergeant lo umkhana.
I then remained behind with Mabena and Sergeant Mukhane.
And did you know where they entered? Did they leave or did they enter the mine complex?
Ingabe ba Gininda and Mukhula.
Gininda and Mukhula, I'm sorry.
uGininda noMukhula ingabe bahamba noma bangena ngaphakathi emine?
Hayi bajika baqhama ngendlela ophela thina sasimi indawo yeso sasimila mozongena sibhedlela indawo yehlela. My ijika ihamba straight angibona mayangena ngaphakathi mayahamba straight.
They turned around because from where we were positioned, my Lord, one cannot see as to whether they drove inside or they left.
Now, Brigadier Gininda testified in this case and he said the following. At Carltonville, at Sibanye Gold, upon his arrival and those investigations were done, he got into the motor vehicle that you were in, and he indeed questioned you about the case that he questioned you about. Do you recall that?
Kubufakazi bakhe ke abethule kuyona ke lenkantolo uBrigadier Gininda uthi ke impela ke wayekhona ke lapho eSibanye kwenziwa ke lolo phenyo olalwenziwa khona lapho wasengena emotweni ke owawukuyona wena impeleni ke wavuma futhi nokuthi ke wakubuza imibuzo.
Ayiphutha leNkosi enkantolo lona iqiniso.
No, that's a mistake, my Lord. It's not the truth.
Then he testified that indeed you denied any knowledge of the allegations that he was asking you about.
Empeleni ushilo ke nayo ke ebufakazini bakhe uBrigadier Gininda ukuthi wase wena ke uphika ukuthi cha awazi lutho ke wena ngeinsolo lezi yena ayikubuza ngazo.
Yeah, uqinisile Nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, he was telling the truth, my Lord.
He further testified that he then confronted you with a photo of an identity kit that was published in the newspaper pertaining to the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, and that you denied that the person that he pointed at on that photo depicted wearing, on that identity kit, depicted wearing a hoodie resembled you. You denied that and you said it's a case of mistaken identity.
Uthi waseqhubeka ke ekubuza isithombe ke manje esasigcweleke esasikhishwa ke emaphepheni somuntu lapho owayegqoke ihoodie wase wena ke uphika ke uthi cha loya muntu loyana ke akusiwena ke iphutha leli elenziwa lapha noma iphutha lelo alenzayo ukuthi uwena loya okulesa sithombe.
Nkosi enkantolo isithombe lesikukhulunywa ngaso ngiqala ukusibona sivezwa la.
The first time I saw that photo, my Lord, it's when it was depicted here.
that after that, he then exited that motor vehicle and he was walking towards his motor vehicle when one of the officers, he didn't identify which one, called him to say that you, Mr. Ntanzi, wanted to talk to him again.
Uthi ke waphuma ke kule moto oyehlezi kuyona imoto le ogibele kuyona wena ehamba ke eya kule moto ayehamba ngayo yena kodwa ke elinye lamaphoyisa kula maphoyisa ayelapha akashonga ukuthi yiliphi lase limbiza ke lithi wena ke Ntanzi ufisa noma ufuna ukukhuluma naye. That's a mistake, my lord.
My lord, I think that's an opportune time. It's heading towards 11:30. Should we then take a short break?
15 minutes. Yes, Mr. Ramasepil.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Mr. Ntanzi, Captain Gininda further testified that whilst you were at the mine complex, you indicated your willingness to make a statement, before that whilst he was speaking to you, you made certain utterances, remarks that to him tantamounted to a confession. What is your comment?
Okunye futhi kubona ubufakazi bakhe ke uBrigadier Gininda uthe nkathi ekhuluma nawe kunezinto owazisho kuyena ke lezo zinto lezo waseyithatha ke ngokuthi ke lokho ukugonyuluka noma singathi ukuvuma ke uthini wena kulokho. I dispute that, my lord.
That at that stage he then proceeded to read you or to explain or advise constitutional rights to you.
Uthi ke emuva kwalokho yila aseqale khona ke manje ukuthi asexwayisa ke ngamalungelo akho ngokomthetho sisekelo.
Bengicela kusenkantolo umelana bengichasele ngama rights la. Mhlambe khona apha engezwe khona kahle.
I would like, my lord, to request my legal representative to explain to me or to tell me about the rights. Maybe there is somewhere where I'm missing it.
So the procedure is that normally when a police officer questions you and intends to arrest you relating to an offense, there are certain rights in terms of the Constitution Act 108 of 1996 that he must advise or explain to you.
Umthetho ke uthi uma iphoyisa likhulumisana nawe noma linenhloso lokuthi ke likubopheke ukuthi ke kufanele ngokomthetho sisekelo ke abe nezinto akutshela zona ke noma ake akwexwayisa ngazo ilezi kuma kusezichazwa ke noma ibizwa ke manje kuyithiwa ke umuntu unelungelo elithile unelungelo elithize unelungelo elithize ngokomthetho sisekelo akwexwayise. No, my lord, there were no warnings that he gave me.
Yes, I tried to do that earlier, but you answered the question and I was curtailed to answer that right. So let me give you examples. Paramount of those rights are you are told that you've got the right to remain silent. Did Gininda warn you of those rights at Carltonville?
Akubalekileke kulawo malungelo ukuthi kumuntu akutsheleke ukuthi yabona njengoba ngikubopha ke manje unelungelo lokuthula lokuthi ungasho lutho kumina. Ingabe uGininda wakuxwayisa nini ngalelo lungelo lelo? No, my lord, he didn't.
Did he advise you that anything that you say to him may and will be used against you in a court of law?
Ngaba wakuxwayisa yini ukuthi noma yini oyishoyo kuyena leyo nto leyo ingasetshenziswa nabo njengoba sihlangene la manje icala liyaqhula ukuthi leyo nto leyo isetshenziswe nanjengobufakazi ngakuwena? No, my lord.
Did he explain to you that you've got the right to have an attorney present during questioning?
Ingabe wakutshela yini ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi unganommeli abe khona ummeli njengoba yena ekhuluma nawe ekubuza imibuzo ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi akubuza imibuzo unelungelo lokuthi ummeli wakho abe khona uma ekubuza imibuzo? No, my lord.
Did he also explain to you that you've got the right, if you don't have financial means, to be provided with a lawyer at state expense?
Ngabe waqhubeka yini akutsheleke uma kuwukuthi awunayo imali yokuthi ufuna ummeli ngaphandle ozomkhokhela ukuthi ke ungasenza leso sicelo leso ke kumbuso wona kuzokutholela ummeli bese kuba umbuso okhokhela lowo mmeli loyo. No, my lord.
Did he explain to you the right that you have to challenge the legality of your arrest?
Ingaba wakutshela yini ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi ke ungabe usemanje ke usebenzisa umthetho ke ukuthi ubhekisise indlela oboshwe ngayo ukuthi indlela esomthethweni yini noma ehambisana nomthetho? No, he's never informed me, my lord.
Now, Mr. Ntanzi, those rights are encapsulated in Section 35 of the Constitution, but there's a whole lot conspectus of those rights. But the ones that I've just summarized now are the ones that are normally read to arrested persons, suspects, and the like.
Lamalungelo ke awaphelele kula engwashayo mina kodwa ke ukaningi ke uma abantu beboshwe noma umuntu eboshwa ke iwona lana achazwayo kodwa maningi wona ke khona la abhalwe khona ke angaphansi komthetho ke abawubiza ngokuthi Section 35 kodwa ngikubizela nje mina athize nje.
Now let's proceed. Then Brigadier Gininda testified further that you indicated to him that you are willing to make a statement to an independent officer pertaining to the remarks that he said you made.
Waseqhubeka ke kubufakazi bakhe uBrigadier uGininda wathi wase umtshela ke wena ke ukuthi uyimisele ukuthi ungayokhuluma nomuntu ke oyimela ngamanye amagama ke umuntu ongasiyona ke ingxenye yophenyo noma ke ithimba leli asebenza nalo eliphenyayo uyimisele ukuthi ungahlangana nomuntu onjalo uyokhuluma kuloyo muntu loyo. No, my lord, I don't know about that.
And let me just track back and tie it up with this one of rights. That you indicated your willingness to talk to him in the absence of an attorney, in the absence of a lawyer. You waived your right to have a lawyer.
Waqhubeka ke wathi wena washo kuyena wathi uyimisela ukuthi ungakhuluma kuye noma ukhulume naye ummeli engekho. No, my lord, I'm hearing that for the first time.
Now, sir, you have testified that you were booked out from Futura North by Mokhane in the company of Mabena and taken to Carltonville. During that time, let me start here. Did you have breakfast in the morning at the police station in custody?
A particular police station?
In the morning. Before they booked him, or at the time they booked him, did he have breakfast at Pretoria North?
Okay. Ngalelo ngaka ngithi kule police station ePretoria North bakhipha ke bahamba nawe uMokhane noMabhena kodwa ngaphambilini kokuthi uhambe ke ukudla ke kwasekuseni lokho bakubiza ngokuthi ke i-breakfast wawukudlile yini ngalelo langa? No, I didn't eat, my lord.
Now, during the time that you go with Mabena and Mokhane, they do investigations. Later on, they are joined by Gininda and Sergeant Mukhula. Were you given anything to eat?
Manje ke senyahamba ke uhamba naye uMabhena kanye naye uMokhane kwase kufika ke uBrigadier Gininda uSergeant Mukhula. Ingabe ngaleso sikhathi leso kukhona enakudla? No, my lord, I didn't eat any food.
Were you given anything to drink?
No, nothing, my lord.
And was there a time when you were given an opportunity for a comfort break or to use a bathroom?
Ingabe sikhona yini noma likhona yini ithuba la khona ke wanikezwa isikhathi ukuthi usungahamba ke manje endlini encane uma kuukuthi ufuna uyisiza? No, my lord.
And at the time were your hands still in restraint from the morning, from when they handcuffed you to the time as when these investigations are done within the mine complex? Were you still in handcuffs?
Ingaba ngaso sonke leso sikhathi leso kusukela ke ekseni bekhipha laphayana niyahamba ungenwe imayini la benza khona ke uphenyo labo ukuthi ngaso sonke leso sikhathi leso izandla zakho ufakwe ozankosi.
Ngangwafaka ukuthi masivele emayini ngoba ngangengikwazi ukungena egate ngoba igate yakhona ile ejikeleza encane lengena umuntu nje straight bawakhipha bawabuyisela sengaphakathi ngangengikwazi ukungena nayo egate ngoba ayefasona ngekwazi.
My Lord, when I went through the gate, I would not have been able to go through that gate, the swerving gate, with the handcuffs on. So they were removed, and when I was on the other side, that is now inside the mine, they were placed back again.
Yes, bar those instances when you go through turnstiles. At all material times, the handcuffs were slapped on you. Correct.
Kodwa-ke ngaphandle kwalokho, ngaso sonke isikhathi ozankosi babefakiwe bengakhishiwe.
Yebo, Nkosi enkantolo.
That is correct, my Lord.
Now, we are at the stage, and I want you to take it from there. Investigations are done at Sibanye. How long, in terms of time, you arrive in the morning, how long did you stay, perhaps, according to your estimation, at Sibanye Gold?
Ngokwesikhathi-ke angithi nafika ekuseni khona laphayana-ke esibanye, ungathi-ke kwaba isikhathi esingakanani enani lapho eCarltonville khona, nanjengoba nafika ekuseni.
Nkosi enkantolo angisasikhumbuli isikhathi ngoba newashi ngangenayo.
My Lord, I can't remember the time because I did not even have a watch.
Let's leave that. Now, proceed further. The investigations are done. Mukula and Brigadier Gininda have left. What then happened to you, Mabena and Mohani?
Usushilo-ke ukuthi base behamba-ke uBrigadier Gininda naye uSergeant Mukhula kwase kwenzekani-ke ngawe uSergeant Mohane kanye noMabenda.
Uma ehamba Nkosi enkantolo uGenenda sasheka sathi nje ubuma bekhuluma namafoni.
We remained there, my Lord. We stood there. They were speaking using their phones.
Baseke bengena emotweni eqotho ukhuluma nefoni. Sahamba sakudla ilokhozi plant lapho ibhande lelihambisa igolide kumemgodini. Masifika phambili ngambona uMabena ekhuluma nefoni.
We then proceeded from there, my Lord, that is now traveling alongside the plant, that is now the one that now produces or takes out the gold from the mine. And then, at some point, I saw Mabena using his phone, talking.
Ngoba wayekhuluma ilanguage le esifana nezulu ngangimuzwa ukuthi ngoba wayethi mphathi senze njalo ngalomuntu lo.
Because he was speaking a language that is similar to isiZulu, I could understand him. He was then saying, boss, what should we do with this person?
Then what happened?
Mayeqeda ukukhuluma nefoni ngangayizwa impendulo ephuma kulomuntu akhuluma nawo wavala ifoni wase ngibuza ukuthi indlela eRustenburg la ehamba ngayo ngathi mina ngiyiboni mangela.
I could not get the answer or the response from the other side, but then when he was done, he then asked me, how do we travel from Rustenburg when we are here? I then said, from here, I can't see it.
Now remember, we are still talking about the 18th at the mine complex, the investigations, all of the whereabouts, the clinic where they took your records. Where were you taken from Carltonville?
Ukhumbuleke sisakhuluma ngoloko kwenzeka ngazo i18 laphayana ke emine unibaniye ekliniki ukusuka lapho bakuthatha bakusa kuphi.
Nkosi enkantolo mina ngabona indlela ibheka le ngaseGoli ukuthi iGola lilazi kodwa ngabona nje imoto apha yafika yamakhona yafika ama-engine garage lapha ngafika ngabona lapho ngoba iGola lilazi kahle kahle.
Just saw the vehicle traveling towards Johannesburg, my Lord, but because I am not familiar with Johannesburg, but I just saw the vehicle coming to a standstill at an engine garage.
And do you know the particular suburb or town where that engine filling station was?
Indawo le u-engine loyo othi imoto wayibona imisa kena uyazi ukuthi yini igama laleyo ndawo leyo?
Ngingazi igama lakho ngoba imoto ngayibona mina mayithika so iqhuma lwendlela leyo indlela engiyayibona indlela esihamba kwamasekhaya mayiphuma i-indicate ijika ezothi phakathi kwebridge mayikhuphuke ngibona ibhodi elibhalwe Albertine ibhodi.
Okay. I didn't know the name, my Lord, but just as the car took a turn, because I was familiar with the road, that's the road that we would be using going home. So I saw a board or a signboard written Albertine.
Lapho ke imoto yahamba khona yaze yafika ke yangena kulo garage leyo.
That's where the car traveled up until it reached that filling station.
And what transpired at that garage?
Kwenzekani ke kuleyo garage leyo?
Egarage wafika ke imoto umhani wayimisa ke behla bekhuluma namafoni.
At that garage, he brought the vehicle to a standstill, and then they alighted and spoke, and then they were speaking over their phones.
Now let's get a general idea of that filling station. we'll have a filling station, the tanks, perhaps testify whether does it have a shop inside that garage?
Siyazi ke ukuthi igaraji ke ngokubamsekile ukuthi izoba njani ke iyona igaraji inama tank la ikuthela khona ke ingaba isitolo yayinaso leyo garage le
angibonanga ukuthi isitolo ngoba imoto ayiyanga nalapho kuthela khona petrol inkosi enkantolo yangena nje yaya straight la kuma parking ayiyanga la kuthela ngakhona petrol.
Couldn't see, or I didn't see whether there was a shop, my lord, because it did not go to the tanks, in other words to fill up, but it went straight to the parking lot.
Can you perhaps give a bit of clarity about the area specifically where the car was parked, the Toyota Fortuner, at the garage?
Ungakhona yini ukuthi uyichaze indawo le othi imoto yaya kuyona ke la njengokuthi ku park yafika yama khona ke indawo ungakhona ukuthi uyichaze uyisho?
Yebo ngayichaza Nkosi enkantolo.
Yes,
Please describe it for the court.
uyichaze.
Nkosi enkantolo imoto mayingena la kunendawo ngathi nje indawo yokuhlala abantu abadlayo la kunamatafula nyama. Iside yayiphambi kwamoto yimi ibuka so kunendawo ngathi yethama into lamagesi amahasi la.
Okay.
Ngoba ngangibona umuntu mayephethe ihasi yalapha ngingaze kodwa into yokwenzani.
My lord, as one would be driving in, there would be tables on the side where people would sit and eat, and then straight, as you drive straight to where the car was parked, you would see people going in with their gas tanks. You would think that, oh, it looked like a place where people were filling up their gas tanks.
Now, proceed from where Mwabena is on a call making certain calls. What then transpired?
Shilo ukuthi baphuma ke bekhuluma ke emafonini qhubeka ke kusuka lapho kwenzekani.
Etheme beqeda ukukhuluma namafoni Nkosi enkantolo ngabona kuqhamuka imoto embili iGTI imoto emhlophe eyinomaka yizwa ngazi ukuthi emaphoyisa abizwa ngani ngoba ngifunda yedwa ayinawo umaka onayo ihardboard engenawo umaka evene emhlophe.
Then two vehicles appeared, my lord. It was a white GTI. It was marked, although I can't tell what that mark was because I'm illiterate. And then there was a hard body, but the hard body wasn't marked.
Now, describe to the court the occupants first of the VW GTI.
Awusichazeleke ngalabo ababegibele kwi-GTI leyo eyayimhlophe leyo othi yayinomaka.
Kwi-GTI kwakukhona abantu abayi-2.
There were two people in the GTI, yebo.
Were they male persons?
Kwakuwabantu besilisa?
Yebo.
Yes.
Were they black, white, Indian, colored?
Kwakuwabantu abamnyama, abantu abamhlophe, ama-Indian, ama-Khaladi.
It
looked like colored. Sorry, they looked like colored, but the other one was hidden himself with a mask.
The one who's not hidden with a mask, did he at any stage testify in this court?
Omunye lona ke owayengayifakile imask ingabe mhlambe wayezile la inkantolo ezethula ufakazi?
Yeah, ufikile.
Yes, he did.
What is his name?
Ubani igama lakhe?
Igama lakhe ngilizwa khona lapha enkantolo ukuthi Jonathan.
I heard his name here in court, in Jonathan.
And in that GTI were there the guy with a mask on and Jonathan, was there any other occupant in that car?
Why
on the GTI?
There were two people in the GTI.
Now, the occupants of the hard body, can you describe to the court how many were they?
Babe bangaki ababegibele kwi-hard body?
Kwi-hard body ngababonanga kahle phakathi ngoba kwaphuma abantu abayi-2. Ngibabonanga ukuthi babe bangaphakathi.
I couldn't see as to how many they were inside, but two people alighted from it.
And those people, were they male or female persons?
Kwakuwabantu besilisa besifazane. Gentlemen.
And now, just for clarity's sake, the two cars, were they police cars or were they normal civilian cars?
Le imoto ezimbili lezi kwakuyi imoto zamaphoyisa noma kwakungezona imoto zamaphoyisa?
Lena yodwa ngoba yayinomaka le iGTI ehamba uJonathan yona ayibonisa ukuthi imoto yamaphoyisa yayingabonisi le mhlophe.
Because the GTI was marked, it indicated, there was an indication that it was a police vehicle, but the other one, the hard body, was not marked.
And the occupants of both cars, the Nissan hardbody and the GTI VW motor vehicle, were they clothed in civilian clothing or were they in uniform?
Labantu laba ke kuzo zoyimbini le imoto lezi ngaba babegqokele nje impahla zabo noma babegqoke ke impahla zomsebenzi ezitshengisayo ukuthi ke basemsebenzini.
Abekho impahla zomsebenzi kwasenkantolo.
They were in uniform.
Including the two persons from the Nissan hardbody.
Nalaba laba babephuma cardboard nabo.
Ngabona laba baphuma beza kimi ababili.
I saw the two that came to me, or that got out and came towards me.
Now, what transpired once these two cars arrived at the engine garage where the Toyota Fortuner was parking?
Seyifikile ke le imoto embili lapho ke egarage engine kwasekwenzekani.
Kwasenkantolo i-GTI yangena yagudla yona iFortuner, iFortuner yemibo yangena na i-hardboard yayimisongo ngemuva so.
As these two cars were following each other, the hard body following the GTI parked next to the Fortuner and the hard body was just behind.
Then what transpired?
Wasephuma kumabhena lapha naye emotweni ngoba ebuyangena emotweni ngoba kwakubanda.
Mabhena then alighted from the vehicle because he would go in and come out of the vehicle because it was cold.
Proceed further.
Baphuma bakhuluma bonke nje bemlapha ngingabezwa ukuthi bathini.
They got out. They were all speaking among themselves over there and I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Proceed.
Emveni kwalokho waseza ke uMabhena wangikhipha la kule moto le iFortune wangifaka kule GTI le.
From there, Mabhena then came to the Fortuner, took me out of the Fortuner and placed me in the GTI.
Were you still in handcuffs at the time?
Yeah.
Yes.
How were you still handcuffed?
My hands were always, all the time at the back.
And where were you placed in the GTI motor vehicle?
Just right behind the driver, on the right hand side.
And did anyone else get into that car?
On my left side it was Mabhena.
What then transpired in that motor vehicle?
Ngoba phambili lo ehleli phambili no Jonathan yena wayelokho ehleli nje lapha ya uJonathan ehleli la.
The other one, the person that was with Jonathan was on the left, that is now in front, and Jonathan was just seated there.
What then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Kwaseke uJonathan ejike ngibheka kwasekusondela ke ubaba wayiproducer ke mothi ngokuthelezi.
Then Jonathan turned around and looked at me, and then the certain gentleman then introduced himself as Buthelezi.
Yes, we may have missed that one. Where, in relation to the GTI, there's Jonathan in front passenger driver side, front passenger seat, unknown man. The left is Mabhena, the right is you. Where is Jonathan in relation to those positioning? The driver is Jonathan.
Yes.
There's an unknown male person with a mask on the front passenger seat.
Yes.
On the left rear, it's Mabhena.
Yes.
And the witness is on the right behind the driver.
Yes.
Where is Buthelezi?
Okay. Kulabantu babalile bonke la emotweni angithi ushilo ukuthi ubani ohlezi kuphi waye kuphi nendawo yena uButhelezi
Waye phandle khona la ngoba izivalo sasingavale sasivule
eduze kwakho
eduze kwami.
He was outside just right next to me because the door was not closed.
Yes, then what then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Waseke mengitshena igama lakhe Nkosi enkantolo wase ngibuzela nami ngase ngimtshene la muntu ngoba.
Introduced himself, asked me who I was, and I also told him as to who I was.
Who introduced himself?
Ubani lo wayichaza?
Nguye qala.
He introduced himself first.
Yes, who is he?
Sikhuluma ngobani?
Sikhuluma ngobaba uButhelezi.
Buthelezi.
Okay. After that, what then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani ke emuva kwalokho?
Emveni kwalokho ke wase ngibuza imibuzo naye ukuthi ngelanga lelo khoza le October yizo sengazi ama 26 or 27 wathi wawukuphi ngale date.
He then also asked me questions about 8-day, although I can't remember whether it was the 26th or the 27th in October, and asked me as to where I was on that particular day.
Proceed.
Ngase ngimphendula ke mina Nkosi enkantolo ukuthi uma ukuthi ngingekho emsebenzini isuke ngisekhaya
I then answered him that if I am not at work, or if it is that I wasn't at work, then I would be at home.
What happened next?
Yebo.
wasebe engitshena ukuthi into ayifunayo iqiniso.
He then told me that the only thing that he was looking for was the truth.
Ngimbuze nkosi kanti uthi liphi iqiniso lelo olifuna ngapha ngiyaphendula.
I then asked him, which truth are you referring to? Because I am answering you.
What then transpired?
Yebo.
Wasebe qhamuka umfo elingana nje nami wayenomzimba nje. Mude futhi.
And then-
Igama lakhe ngigcine ngazi ekugcineni ukuthi umaphumulo.
And then a guy, my lord, who is my height, but he is bigger than me in build, then appeared, and I ended up getting to know his name, that it's Maphumulo.
What happened when Mapumulo came?
Makufika uMaphumulo kwenzekani?
Naye wafika wangitshena lento ibikhulunywa ngobuthelezi nkosi enkantolo ukuthi into abayifuna kimi iqiniso.
He told-
Ngiphinda ngibuza ukuthi liphi iqiniso olifuna apha ngiyaphendula.
He told me the same thing that Buthelezi told me, that the only thing that they were looking for or that they wanted was the truth. I said to him, but which truth? Because I am answering you.
What happened next?
Yeah.
Emveni kwalokho kwase ngikhuluma bhena ngapha ecelwa wami sekhuluma ukuthi yababona laba batabala kuwe la. Lembuzo bakubuza noma ungafuna ukwatshela iqiniso. Uzophuma ngishiya emotweni.
Then Mabena answered and said that, you see these people that are here, if you don't want to tell the truth, I'm going to leave you in the vehicle. I'm going to get out of the vehicle and leave you here.
Then what happened?
Yebo.
Emveni lokho ke na uMabhena ngimbuza liphi iqiniso mina nkosi enkantolo uzokukhuluma kuwe Mabhena ngani ngoba ngiyaphendula nami angingekho emsebenzini ngisuke ngisekhaya.
Amen.
Negoli lelo ngibuza ngaligola nilazi. Ngazi lapho kugidwa khona uma ngibuthi ingoma eground resort ekuphi le ngoma. Ya ngafe ngikhombisa ingoma ugidwa la.
Then what
I
happened?
also answered Mabena and said, but which truth are you referring to? Because I am answering you, and I am not familiar with Gauteng. If you were to ask me where is it that the performance is being held, or where the song as well as the dance, then I'll be able to point that out to you.
Then what happened, sir?
Yebo.
Emveni kwalokho ke nkosi enkantolo ngabona uMabhena bekhipha uplastic wase Truent. Ewufaka ke ekhaya.
Thereafter, I saw Mabena producing a truweth, a plastic bag, and placed it over my head.
Describe that plastic bag.
Awuchaze lo plastic.
Plastic wase Truent oba uplastic Truent usilver la wasilver manje ubhale uthi Truent la.
It's a
La
silver
phakathi naphakathi.
truweth plastic bag, and it's written there truweths.
Now that bag is placed over your head. Proceed from there.
Wawufaka ke ekhanda kuwena qhubeka.
Mawufaka uplastic ekhanda ngithi ngizama ke ugquma uba utheleze ngigresile ngabuthi ngingakhona ukuphuma ngiye phandle ngoba ngangizophuma kube wayengekho uba utheleze ngapha engishovela phakathi.
And as I tried to jump, my lord, but I was pressed on the side by Buthelezi, because he's the one that was blocking me to go out. Because if Buthelezi wasn't there, I was going to get out of the vehicle.
How did you feel as that plastic bag was placed over your head?
Wazizwa kanjani ke ngaleso sikhathi uplastic lowo ufakiwe kuwena ekhanda?
Kwakubuhlungu nje nkosi enkantolo ngoba oyelanga lokuqala letense.
It was hurting to me, my lord, because that was the first time that was happening.
Proceed further. What happened
Futhi
next?
namanje abona nje inhliziyo yami nkosi enkantolo ngelapha bo. Inhliziyo yami ibuhlungu kakhulu.
Even now, my lord, as I'm before you here, my heart is very painful.
What happened next, sir?
Kwase kwenzekani ke?
Mabebona ukuthi abalungu lento abayenzayo ngifuna ukuphuma uJonathan ashova isitulo athi angivule imilenze isitulo singene la ke ngibe sona isitulo esingikhona ukumpresela ngapha uthi ngakhona ukuyalena kwakhe.
And my lord, the other thing that happened was that Jonathan would then push the seat backwards and instructed me to open my legs so that the chair or the seat can get in between my legs.
And how long do you estimate that for the first time the plastic bag was held over your head?
Cabanga ukuthi ke uplastic lowo wawugcinwe noma ufakwe la kuwena ekhanda isikhathi esingakanani?
Angeke ngikwazi nkosi enkantolo ukumeshina isikhathi ngoba babawufaka bethi mangifuna ukukhuluma bazozwa ngami.
I wouldn't be able to tell the time, my lord, because they would place the plastic and they would say that if they would hear from me if I wanted to talk.
And was that plastic bag at some stage removed from your head?
Ingabe sikhona yini isikhathi lapho na uplastic lowo wasuswa ekhanda lapho?
Baba ususana ngithi mangithi manene ke.
When I would say to them stop, and then they would remove it.
So, from what I'm hearing from you, are you saying that the plastic bag was repeatedly placed over your head at different times?
Engikuzwa kuwena ukuthi uplastic lona babephinda ngathi babewufaka bawukhiphe bawufake bawukhiphe yiloko babekwenza kuwena.
Baba ufaka mangithi mina manene ke bewukhiphe. Emveni kwalokho mangithi bethi khuluma mangithi ngithule phinde ubuyela kimi ekhanda.
Yes, they would place it, my Lord, and then maybe I would say to them, wait, then they would remove it. If then I keep quiet, then they would put it back again.
And besides the plastic bag being placed over your head, was anything else done physically to you?
Ngaphandle kokufakwa kwawo uplastic kuwena ke ekhanda kabakhona yini okunye ababekwenza kuwena la kuwena emzimbeni?
Yizo enkantolo ngangabona ukuthi ubani ongishaya ngebhama la ngoba phela mangivale so engipressile khona ushaya ngebhama ngangabona ukuthi ngishaya ubani but umuntu engangibodi wena ongishaya ngebhama ilona ngangifika ngabe ngangifesene nawo uJonathan ngoba ngayengeke ubaba uThezi ukwazi ukugqamanisa isandla ngishaya ngebhama.
Although I would not be in a position to see as to who was smacking me with an open hand, my Lord, because the plastic would be covering my head, but I think that the person that would have been able to do that was the one that was facing me, which was Jonathan. Buthelezi from where he was, he could not have smacked me.
Now, there's one character that we missed earlier. Let me just add that character to the picture. Where was Mukhane at this time?
Wayekuphi ngaleso sikhathi uMukhane?
Umkhane ngamgcela esemotweni ehleli khona ngoba cha yena akazange ngibeke isandla enkantolo uMkhane.
The last time I saw or I checked Mukhane, my Lord, he was in the vehicle and Mukhane never assaulted me, my Lord.
Now, in the vehicle, did Jonathan participate in the assaults that were perpetrated on you?
Emotweni uJonathan wayingxenye yini yalabo ababekushaya?
Yebo.
Yes, my Lord.
And how did he participate?
Kanjani?
Angithi uma bhena mebamba uplastic uJonathan nawe uyangipressa ukuthi ngingakhona ukuqhuma.
When Mabena is holding the plastic, Jonathan would be pressing me so that I wouldn't be able to jump.
Ngoba izandla isitulo semoto masimso izandla zakhe zayiphuma la ziza ke imvelo so uma bhena ngithi ngapha yena umsebenzi wakhe ufaka uplastic bese bepressa lapha emekhanda.
As the seat would be pressed or the seat would be like this, my Lord, so his hands would be protruding from the sides and so he would be pressing me.
And the gentleman in the front passenger seat, did he do anything to you?
Lona yena owayehlezi eduze koJonathan phambili kusihlalo singaphambili khona wayekwenza yena?
Cha le wayecofela ifoni akazange enze nix nje.
No, that one was just busy with the phone. He never did anything to me.
Ngoba namanje nginemkhombo ukuthi ngwela ngoba akaza khiphe mask akazenze nix kimi.
Because even now I won't be able to point out that person because he never even removed his mask. He didn't do anything.
And at some stage, roughly, before I go to that, how long do you think that plastic over your head, a slap here and there, how long do you think that event, that incident took place in that car?
Kulokufaka uplastiki bekhona ukushaya ngempama yonke le yanto eyenzeka emotweni ungathi yenzeka isikhathi esingakanani?
Because enkantolo kwahlaliwa lapha ngapha isikhathi. Lezo sikhathi ngisimeshini ukuthi isikhathi esingakanani.
We were there for some time, my Lord, although I won't be able to say precisely how long.
Did you suffer any injuries as a result?
Ingaba khona ukulimala wakuthola ngenxa yalokho?
Because enkantolo ngisho ukuthi mawufaka uplastic ekhanda kuzoba buhlungu ikhanda ngalishala lingashaya phela uplastic uyashisa because enkantolo and uvala umoya.
Yes, my Lord, when a plastic is put over your head, there is no way that that wouldn't be painful or that your head wouldn't be burning because the plastic itches or it is there's heat in there.
Now, at some stage, did that, which was the incident in the car, did it stop?
Ingaba kwaphela noma ke kwagcina sebengasaqhubeki sebekuyeka lokho babekwenza.
bayenza phela ngingazi ukuthi ngoba isikhathi esingana lokhu bephele beshitshana noJonathan awufana amabhena awufake emveni ngalokho ngabona sengikhishiwe emotweni sengibuyisela kule moto le.
Though I won't be able to tell as to how long,
Fortune.
because they were taking turns, my Lord. It would be Jonathan, it would be Mabena, and then thereafter, I was then taken out from that vehicle. I was then taken out of that white vehicle.
And when were you were taken now from the GTI motor vehicle to which vehicle?
Mabe sebekhipha ke manje ku GTI bakufaka kuyiphi imoto?
Ngabuyela kwi-Fortune.
I went back to the Fortuner, the one driven by Mokhane.
What then transpired once you were placed in the Fortuner?
Emveni lokho kwaphunya ngazi imoto phela ngingazi ukuthi imoto zayihamba apha kuleya ndawo mina ngiyazi igole ngithi but imoto yayichuza khona lapho ngingazi ukuthi iya kuphi.
Then the cars left there, my Lord. The cars were traveling, but because I am not familiar with Gauteng, so I don't know where the cars were traveling.
Did those cars, is it one car or all three of the cars went out?
Kwahamba imoto eyodwa noma zahamba zonke lezo imoto ezazilapha?
Zahamba zonke zoyi-3.
All three vehicles left.
And did those cars come to eventually come to some destination?
Ngaba uma ihamba ke kodwa khona yini egcineni la eza iyofika khona?
Kukhona ngoba yayihamba phambili iyo le eyidrayiva uJonathan kuyile Fortune kaMhali phakathi ihalbhodi zangemuva mayihamba phakathi kwale indawo ezayihamba kuyo.
Yes, my Lord, there was some destination because the one that was leading was the one driven by Jonathan, and then the Fortuner in the middle, and then the hard body.
Now, for contextual purpose, what time did you arrive at that engine garage before we leave engine garage? What time did you arrive from Carltonville at that engine garage?
Uma nifika kuleya Carlton, uma nifika kuleya engine garage, kwakubani isikhathi? Nisuke Carlton, nafika ke manje kulo engine garage, kwakubani isikhathi uma nifika kulo engine garage?
Ngebhadi nephutha kwasekantolo isikhathaya ngangena asangasibongi nokusibonga ngoba inhliziyo yami yayibuhlungu serious yayibuhlungu.
Unfortunately, my Lord, because I did not have time on me, so I cannot tell the time, and I can also say that I was in pain, my Lord. Even my heart was sore.
But was it during the day, in the afternoon, dusk, or evening?
Kodwa ke ngokubheka kwakho ke kwakusekuseni kwakusemini kwakusebusuku.
Kwasekuqala ukuba mnyama ngoba ilanga lashesha ukushona kubanda kungoJune July.
It was now starting, sunset was starting, my Lord, because it was in June, it's winter, so sunset is earlier in winter.
And is it your testimony that when you left engine garage, then was it already dark?
Ubufakazi bakho ukuthi uma nisuka khona ke lapho engine kwaseqala ukuba kwasekumnyama.
Nakhona lapha sikhona wasubona ukuthi kumnyama.
Even there where we were, you could see that it was dark.
Now you arrive at the destination where you are driven now to the second spot. Take it from there. Describe to the court what happened.
Nafika ke kule ndawo inaniya kuyona uma nisuka ke engine chaza ke.
Masifika le ndawo le esaya kuyo nkosenkantolo. Lapha I'm sure yizwa ngingabona ngahle makwakumnyama kodwa khona isitebhisi sasehlela ngale.
Although I couldn't see properly, my Lord, because it was dark, but there was a staircase that was going down. But I didn't use it. I went on the side of it, or to the side of it.
And can we perhaps, for contextual purpose, describe that place? Were there any objects, items, or whatever you observed at that area that could be a beacon or some sort of location indicator to say, I was at this place because I saw this particular object?
Kukhona ongakusho ongachaza uthi ke ngangisendaweni ethize ngoba ngabona lokhu kwakunento ethize kuleya ndawo kunento ethize khona ongakusho mayelana naleyo ndawo leyo uthi kwakunento ethize lapho.
Yebo nkosenkantolo ngasho ukuthi kwawento engangiyibona ngoba mawuzobona i-truck leli lichitha i-dustbin ngathi lifunana endaweni la yesiganga khona. Isithi bezochitha i-dustbin nkosenkantolo.
Yes, my Lord, I can say so because if you see the truck that now removes or that take the dustbins, and so you then clearly say or ask yourself, what does that truck want there? So surely it was there to offload in other words, the dustbins, my lord.
So, besides you observing that it's a perhaps
Dumping site.
dumping site, were there any other objects identifiable to you at that stage?
Ngaphandle koba usho ke ukuthi ke ila uthi khona ke ubona ukuthi leyo truck leyo ezolahla ke udoti khona okunye owawukubona ke.
Into engiyibona ngangibona nelokhuza la. Mangimile kunamatanka lapha ngibuka amatanka ngithi phesheya lapha.
The other thing
ngathi nje igquma nya kunamatanka la ngathi akhanda ngosamende.
One would be standing there, you would see tanks from a distance, my lord. It's like they were built with some cement, my lord.
Now, what happened at that locality, at that location?
Kwenzekani lapha?
Mangifika ke Nkosi enkantolo lapha bangikhiphile emotweni lo mabhena.
On arrival or upon arrival there, they took me out of the vehicle.
Ngaphuma emotweni ngafika ngamaduzane nesitebhisi esiwathanga imela.
Got out of the vehicle and he instructed me to stand next to that staircase.
What then happened?
Angibuze ukuthi namanje awufuna ukukhuluma iqiniso na ngimbuze mina ntathi lithi iqiniso ngizokukhuluma ngiyasho namanje ukuthi mangingekho emsebenzini ngisuke ngisekhaya.
Asked me, are you still not willing to tell the truth? I'm asking which truth, because if I am not at work, I would be home.
What then transpired, sir?
Emveni ngalokho Nkosi enkantolo bese ke engikhipha lamahenka ngemuva ngingamazi la namanye ukuthi wawane kobani la ayemfase ngawo ngaphi le ntsimbi lena le ntsimbi le ngime phakathi naphakathi lesi stepisi.
From there, my lord, he then removed or loosened the handcuffs, that is now, as my hands were at the back, and then I don't know where he got the other handcuffs, and then he tied my hands on the stilts, on the one on the other side as well as on the other side.
Now, just for contextual purposes again, what were the weather conditions like on that day?
Isimo sezulu ke sasi kanjani ngalelo langa lelo?
Kwakubanda Nkosi enkantolo.
It was cold, my lord.
And what were you wearing on that day?
Wawugqokeni?
Ngangifaka ijini ehlaza erileni.
Okay.
Ijini erileni.
Okay, a relay jean.
Kuyisweater lekhavela.
Kavela sweater.
Kuyivesta ngaphansi ivesta white.
Underneath I was wearing a white vest.
Kuyiskipa seFabiani.
As well as a Fabiani t-shirt.
Kube yitracksuit engase nginike uMabhena.
A tracksuit that was given to me by Mabena.
Bese bayijacket yami ke inkampani ebhala ukuthi Impala Mine.
As well as my company jacket, my lord, which was written Impala Mine here.
Let's clarify something. I heard something, but the interpretation came otherwise. With regard to the kavela, was it you said suede or sweater?
Kavela.
The kavela. Describe again something about the kavela. Sorry, is it a type of a shoe, or is it a jacket, or is it whatever? Because I couldn't get the interpretation clearly.
Ukhulumeni ngekhavela. Ngazi ukuthi uzweli Mr. Ramsipile ukuthi khona akuzweli noma ngakuzwanga ngekhavela oyishilo.
Ngithe enyaweni ngangigqoke ikhavela enave isweat.
I never heard about the feet. I'm hearing for the first time.
That's fine. Okay, it's clarified. Then what then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Baphindeka benze into bebenza ke emotweni Nkosi enkantolo ukuthi bafake uplastic la ngoba ngumile.
They repeated the same thing that they did to me in the vehicle and placed the plastic as I was now standing.
Who started that process now at this dumping site? Who started the process of putting the plastic bag over your head?
Senila kule ndawo ke manje ubani owaqala ukwenza leyo nto?
Mabhena uqale le nto Nkosi enkantolo ngoba yonke into eyenzeka uMabhena noJonathan.
Mabena is the one who started that, my lord, because everything that was happening, it would be started by Mabena and Jonathan.
And at the time this plastic bag was placed over your head, was there anything asked of you?
Ngalesikhathi lo plastic lona ufakwa kuwena ke ekhanda ikona into owawuyibuzwa.
Angithi wakuthiwa khuluma wena man, khuluma wena man.
It would be said, hey, you speak, and I would ask, what should I speak? What should I speak?
And were you also physically assaulted besides the plastic bag at that area?
Kuleyo ndawo leyo ngaphandle kokufakwa ke uplastic ngaba wawushaywa nokushaywa yini?
Babengangishayi mina Nkosi enkantolo. Into babeyenza kimi khona lento babephethe le babe khatha bengithele ngamanzi uma beyithi le yayingihlabala azange bangishaye ngezandla babu plastic nalento le.
My Lord, I was never assaulted. There's this particular object that they had. It would be the plastic, and then when they press it against me, it was, as the witness says it would like stab me or hurt me, but they never assaulted me.
Can we, for clarification purposes, describe that object? What is it exactly?
Iyini lento leyo kusho ukuthi khona lento babeyiphethe yayihlaba uma beyibeka la iyini?
Nkosi enkantolo ngeke angiyazi igama la ngoba ngangiqala ngabo lento Nkosi enkantolo.
I don't know what its name is because for me it was the first time seeing it with them or from them.
Ngoba maye ibambe so wawuyizwa maye dry side iphephe lapha ekhanda bese maye yithi ilethite ngathi ngumcibisholo la kuyemso.
Because you would be able to see it, my Lord, or in other words, when the head was turning, and you would just feel it would have this feeling as he was bringing it closer to your body.
Now let's further explore that because I want to be specific. Did it stab you or did it emit electrical current to you? That object.
Ingaba lokho kwakuyinto eyayihlaba noma kwakuba into ongathi ke ikhipha ugesi oze kuwena ukuzwisa ubuhlungu noma kwakuyinto eyayihlaba.
Yithi engathi yayilokhuza inhlaba ngoba yayichoka ngathi ngizizwe ngathi la izandla ziyaqina zachoka amathumba yalemala.
I would say a step because as you would just feel that even your intestine or inside that you are feeling injured as well as the hands were like they are being stiff or getting stiff.
Ngoba nguye umabhena wangikhumula ijacket mina netroksuit washiyeka iskipa ngasigqoke ngaphansi ukuze akhona ukungithela ngamanzi.
Because Mabena is the one that would remove or that had removing my t-shirt as well as my jacket so as to be able for him to pour me with water.
Now, as a result of that device being used on you, did you sustain any injuries?
Ngokusetshenziswa kwaleyo nto isetshenziswa kuwena ingaba walimala yini ngenxa sikhuluma ngalento manje eyodwa le ukusetshenziswa kwayo kuwena ngathi ungabe kwabangela ukuthi ulimale yini?
Angazi ngaphakathi namanje Nkosi enkantolo ngoba kase ngihanjisiwe ku doctor.
I don't know internally, my Lord, because I was never taken to a doctor.
Now
ama injury akhona ila ama handcuff lana namanje la.
The only injuries that are there now that I can still see where I was bleeding are the handcuff injuries, my Lord. The witness pointing to both his wrists.
And do you still to this day have those marks from the handcuffs, caused by the handcuffs?
Lawo mark lawo ke ama handcuff usenawo namanje?
No, ama yena kuyabonakala nalo.
Yes, here they are. The witness pointing to both wrists, left and right.
Now, did that plastic bagging and the device being used on you at some stage stop to be used at that area?
Kwenziwa ke lokho kwase kufikelela ekuthini ke baze bangasaqhubeka bayeke ukwenza.
Bakwenza ngithile baze bakhathala Nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, up until they got tired, my Lord.
Then what happened?
Ngoba kwaze kwasondela yena ubaba lo umkhana. Abatshente mina ayikhumale language angaze igama la demand lisho ukuthini?
Demand.
Angilazi lo ukuthi.
Okay. Because Mukhane came closer, my Lord, and he used this word which I don't know as to what it is. What does it mean? Demand.
Now, as that was transpiring at that location, at the dumping site, did there come a time when other people came whilst you were there?
Nise lapho ke ngabe bakhona yini abantu abafika nise kuleyo ndawo leyo?
Wafika umama lo umhula nobaba lo Ginindi.
Yes,
omunye angimazi lo balele into le ofaka lento ama-class fund angilazi igama lakhe namanje angilazi.
Sergeant Mukhula as well as Brigadier Gininda arrived. There was another one. There was another gentleman, my Lord, but I don't know his name. I don't know who that person or that gentleman was.
And what happened when Brigadier Gininda, Sergeant Mukhula, and the gentleman in braces arrived.
Kwenzekani mabefika?
weza kimi yena ubaba lo Gininda engibuza ukuthi namanje angifuni ukukhuluma iqiniso.
Gininda came to me and still asked me, do you still not want to tell the truth?
And then what happened?
Mina ngamphendula namanje lokhu ngimi lapho ukuthi angizazi ukuthi ngangekuphi ngangekho emsebenzini usuke ngisekhaya.
I answered him and then I said to him that I don't know where I was, because if I am not at work, then I will be at home.
Now, both Sergeant Mokola and Brigadier Gininda testified in this court to say that they were never at that site on the 19th of June 2020.
Bobabili-ke uSergeant Mokhula kanye naye uBrigadier Gininda bethule ubufakazi bathi abakaze nge-19 kaJune 2020 baya kule ndawo le wena oyishoyo.
From my colleague that now, I just want to seek clarity from the defense that we are now on the 19th or still on the 18th.
Sorry. It's my mistake, man. Thank you, my colleague. Yeah, on the 18th.
Kwenze nje iphutha-ke ngedate sakhuluma nge-18 bethulile ubufakazi babo-ke uSergeant Mokhula kanje naye kuBrigadier Gininda ukuthi ngazo le date le 18 abakaze baya kule ndawo oyishoyo wena.
Iphutha balikhuluma nkosenkantolo.
I made a mistake, my lord.
Now, you testify that Brigadier Gininda asked you some questions and you replied to him. What then transpired?
Ushilo ukuthi uBrigadier Gininda wasekumuza imibuzo wamphendula wena kwasekuthini emva kwalokho.
Wahamba bakhuluma futhi bodwa lapha ngingabezwe bakhuluma bethini.
He then left. They spoke amongst themselves one side, my lord. I don't know what it is that they were talking.
Ngoba umuntu engangimbona ukuthi ngeqiniso nje limsuka phambi kosenkantolo ngangibona into eyenziwa kimi umkhana akayifuni wayengayithandi total angifuni umqambela manga umntwana wabantu.
And the person that I could see, my lord, who was against everything that was happening to me, I don't want to tell lies on his behalf or lie about him, my lord. Mukhana didn't like what was being done to me. Because even as he was driving the vehicle, my lord, I could see that he was using the rear view mirror, or he was using the mirror which was inside the vehicle, and you could see that his heart was in pain, my lord, because he really didn't like that. Ukuthi ke wawibona ukuthi inhliziyo yakhe ibhlungu wawibona kanjani leyo nto leyo?
Ngayibona ukuthi oqala inkosenkantolo eze kimi ukuzokhuza.
I saw it the first time, my lord, that he came to me to come and stop.
Ngoba nasemotweni wayelokho engibheka ukuthi ngiright.
Even in the vehicle, he would look at me and ask me if I was okay. I would just keep quiet and not respond to him. Because the only word that I would say to him, to tell the one that was next to him that as he was seated there, that God should bless him, even where he is resting now, I'm still saying that God should bless him. Yes, my lord. Together with Jonathan, I'm still saying that God should bless them.
Now, what then transpired once Gininda has asked you those questions? After they had their meeting.
Baqedile ngomhlangano ababenawo uGininda ukubuzile imibuzo banomhlangano baqeda kwasekwenzekani.
Ngaseke ngena ke emontweni lapho khona khona umkhani ke imoto esihamba ngayazi ihamba apha ngimbona ngayento waphuma phela ngapheni bakuGininda.
Then got into the vehicle, my lord. I don't know where the vehicle was traveling to, and I also did not see as to where Mr. Gininda went to.
And sorry, Mr. Ntantsi. And the other two vehicles, the Nissan Hardbody and the GTI, did you see where they went?
Ezinye imoto lezi ezimbili, i-GTI, Nissan Hardbody, ngaba wabona ukuthi zaya kuphi zona?
Senyuka nazo nkosenkantolo ngangayibona ukuthi ishonaphi nazo nje
we traveled with them, my lord, but as we went ahead with our journey, I didn't see as to where they went to.
Now, eventually, where were you driven or taken by Mohane and Mabena?
Ekugcineni ke wase usiwa kuphi ke uMohane noMabena?
I can't
recall the police station, my lord.
Okay. Then you were booked in the cells until the following day, correct?
Wasebuselwa ke maselini kwaze kwayilanga elandelayo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask to move to the events of the 19th of June 2020. Do you recall the events that transpired that day?
Usakhumbula okwenzeka ngazo i-19 June 2020?
Do you still remember the incident of the 19th of June?
Yeah, Nkosi enkulu.
Yes, my lord, I do.
What transpired on that day?
Kwenzekani ngalelo langa?
Ngalelo langa lele ekuseni nje ngoba umkhani wangivusa nje ngizilalela ngoba ngangigodola emaseleni phakathi.
On that day in the morning, because I was woken up by Mokhane because I was just laying there in the cells and feeling cold.
Wangikhipha ke sahamba phinde futhi sangena kuyimoto lapha epaka khona lapha.
He took me and then we got into the vehicle.
Now, before that, let me cut it here and track back a bit. You are now booked at the police station. Did you notify any of the police officers, the cell master, anyone at that police station that you had just been assaulted by the people that brought you to that police station?
Manje uma usufakwa ke emaselini ke manje ngabe khona yini owamtshela ke kulabo mhlambi noma abagada amaseli osebenza khona lapha epolice station ukuthi uqeda ushaywa ke wena manje yilabo bebekade behamba nawe?
Kwasekantolo into eyenzekela e-police station la ama-police station lawa la awafani abona lapha ePretoria North alikho iphoyisa lake lafika ke ngoba umuntu uma ephethe ukhiya yokuvulela eseleni ehamba nalowo ahamba naye umabhena engekho umuntu wasestationini ngizoreportela abantu.
My lord, the police station do not function the same or don't do things the same. There in Pretoria North, no one ever came to me, my lord, because when you are being taken to the cell and the key is held by the very same person that you are with, who am I going to report to?
Kube yena Nkosi enkantolo okukhombisa isiport thatha nasi isiport thatha nazi ingubo engekho umuntu osebenza la we-uniform kuyibo.
He's the one who's showing you what to take or where to go, and there is no one who is from the police station. Then there is no one that I can report to.
Ngoba nokufika kwami e-police station kwakehla yena umkhana angene ngaphakathi ngamazi ukuthi abangenayele ngisheke nomabhena la. Ngiyothi emveni kwesikhathi nangeqhamuka evula athi angiye phakathi.
Because what would happen, my lord, would arrive at the police station, Mokhane would go in, I would remain behind with Mabena, he would then come back, he would open for me.
Now, I'll ask it again for fear of repetition. During the two assaults at engine and at the dumping site, did you physically have any visible injuries except the wrists that were injured, the marks that you see you suffered as a result of the handcuffs?
Ngaphandle kwalama mark owashilo ne othi iwona ke asekhona ke noma sabonakalayo khona into okunye ukulimala okwakukhona owawunako okwakubonakala kulamahlandla amabini owashaywa ngawo khona ukulimala okwakubonakala owawunako ngaphandle kwama mark la okhulume ngawo ama handcuffs?
Akukho Nkosi enkantolo kuphela umzimba yawuzithi umzimba uhlukumezekile.
No, none, my lord, but one could just feel that the body had been abused.
Now, just back a bit as well. When that device was used, the one that you said was used on your torso, did you suffer any injuries? Did you react anyhow? Did you cry?
Nkathi ke isetshenziswa leyanto uthi ayisetshenziswa kuwena ke ingabe khona yini okwenzeka okwenza ngaba wakhala yini?
Nkosi enkantolo ngangikhala.
My lord, I was crying.
Now, you are booked out on the 19th of June 2020 by the person that booked you. Take it from there. What happened next?
In 19 wakhishwa ke kwasekwenzekani?
Ngayibona imoto ihamba ngazi ukuthi yakuphi.
Just saw the car traveling. I didn't know where it was driving to, my lord.
Did that motor vehicle finally reach a destination?
Khona la eyafika khona?
Ikhona lapho eyafika khona yangena khona ngoba lapho la masingena thina kunabantu babecula ngathi kuna strike khanyana lapho.
Yes, my lord. It reached somewhere because where we were driving or where we arrived, it was like there were some people that were demonstrating there, some sort of a strike, but I don't know that place, or I didn't know the place.
And did that motor vehicle enter premises where it had to stop on your way?
Khona la eyangena khona kwafanele ukuthi noma ke la eyafika yema khona.
Yebo kukhona kodwa igama lakhona angilazi ukuthi.
Yes, my lord, there is, but I don't know the name of that place or area.
Proceed further, sir.
Qhubeka.
Mayifika khona imoto ngafika ngahlala khona emotweni akaze ngiphume emotweni.
When it arrived there, my lord, I sat in the vehicle. I never went out of the vehicle.
Waphuma umkhane ke ekhuluma nefoni na uMabhena ekhuluma nefoni.
Mukhane as well as Mabena went out, my lord. They were speaking using their phones.
Ngoba sahlala nje phela isikhathi eside kuleya ndawo imoto imile.
Because we spent quite some time there, the car just not moving, stationary there.
Just one last question, and I'll take it after the long adjournment. Evidence was led through the AVL expert that there was a stage where the motor vehicle for 10 minutes or so was stationary at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital. Do you recall that incident?
Kunobufakazi ke bukhona ke lana ke bawo ke umbiko lo wana we-AVL ukuthi kunesikhathi ke la khona ke imizuzu eyishumi la imoto yayimi khona ke eChris Hani Baragwanath kodwa ke ungaphenduli ke asize umshushisi uthini.
I want to object. Evidence it was GPS unlocked, and the fact that it was stationary is not correct.
Let me correct myself. Sorry for putting that version. Where it says GPS unlocked at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital, do you recall?
Uyakhumbula ke ubufakazi la bashilo ke mabechaza ngendlela yabo ukuthi ke isho ukuthi iGPS ke leyo ke yayi avaliwe ke. Uyakhumbula ubufakazi lo bekhuluma ukuthi imoto ke khona la etshengisa khona ise Chris Hani Baragwanath. I remember, my lord.
Stay with that incident at Baragwanath because I'll take it after that. My lord, it will be an opportune moment for the long adjournment. It is exactly 1 o'clock, my lord.
Okay, 2 o'clock.